The road to becoming a racing driver is long. It takes more than just being fast in a car. It takes guts, determination, and plenty of money. People say that it makes it a sport for millionaire playboys. I'm living proof there's another way. My name is Jan Mardenborough. I was a gamer, and now I'm a professional race car driver. I've invited 10 of the best racing gamers in the world to take part in a life-changing competition. The prize? To become a pro race car driver. We'll push them to the limits to see who can make the leap from virtual to real racing. Helping me judge the gamers will be racing legend Juan Pablo Montoya and last year's winner, Rudy Van Buren. We've got 10 gamers and 10 days to find the next world's fastest gamer.
Hello and welcome once again to the All-Star Series powered by Rocket Phones. We've got a new season, a new challenge, the Rocket Triple Crown. Monaco, Indianapolis, and Le Mans. The Triple Crown is the holy grail of motorsport. Many have come close, but only one man, Graham Hill, has ever won all three iconic races. Over a 3-week championship at 3 of the most iconic circuits in the world, the fastest sim drivers, real-world drivers, and legends of motorsport will battle on track in an attempt to win the Rocket Triple Crown. In the Sim Masters, the best virtual racers in the world go head-to-head, while in the Pro Cup, stars of Formula One, World Endurance Championship, Formula E, and IndyCar will aim to take glory on 3 very different challenges. In the Legends Trophy, icons of motorsports will be back at the tracks that they became heroes on. But can the drivers who have chased the Triple Crown dream in real life compete in the virtual world? The first leg of the action will come from Monaco as the All-Star Series takes on the Rocket Triple Crown. It's got to be the 3 biggest races in racing, and joined by someone who's at least done one of those. Julian Palmer, welcome back yet again. New challenge this week. This will be pretty exciting.
Can't wait. Once again, excited for the new series. Last one was brilliant, and this one, the Triple Crown, the 3 most iconic races in motorsport. Starting with Monaco, very, very excited.
What's the hardest one to win, in your opinion?
Between Monaco and Indy. I think Indy, you've got to be in the right place at the right time, which makes it difficult. Monaco, you kind of got to be in the right car as well. So between those 2, but I've only done Monaco, so I'll say that.
Fair enough. Good defense of your self-interest. We'll take a look at the schedule. As always, and as shown just a moment ago, we're divided into 3 categories: the Pro Cup, Sim Masters, and the Legends Trophy. We do still have the reverse grid races. However, I'll tell you now, that's slightly different. You have to be in the top 20 in qualifying to be eligible for the reverse grid. So if you're 21st, well, you're stuck back there for the second race as well, because we know a lot of the guys were playing that strategy. Makes it a little bit more difficult, perhaps, to get it right, especially for the sim guys who are so close and so competitive. So very cool. Machinery, we'll get to that as well. But yeah, as always, we start on Monaco, tight, narrow track in the Principality. And I mean, we've got winners, just to speak of the Triple Crown, guys who have won Le Mans: David Brabham, Emanuele Pirro, Alonso, obviously the last two and the most recent. Indy includes Montoya, Fittipaldi, Castroneves, Franchitti, Canaan, and then Monaco includes Montoya and Alonso. So we've got guys that have two of the three in this race.
Yeah, this is the legends field, and they're legends because they win the big races. So they've got experience in them, but now they're all bunched together to try and win. Ideally, all three, but certainly one of them is going to be fierce, the competition.
Yeah, and just to point that out, because it is a championship, so even though you may not win the Triple Crown, you still are eligible to win the points tally. That said, if anyone in any of the categories do win the Triple Crown and sweep the series, then in the, I'll divide this up, in the Pro and Legends, they get to donate $25,000 to a charity of their choice. But for the Sim guys, who are doing this, full time, they get to keep that cash. So should Bono Huis or Erhan Jajovski or any of those guys, Simoncic, be able to win all three, then hey, good payday for them, I have to say.
It's exciting. There's a lot at stake for them. And it's only right, really. This is the three big races. We've had a couple of months betting into this. Now we're in maybe the final stretch. We've got the three biggies, and we want to put something at stake. Nice to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, as well, we do take a break for the next weekend. We return on the 20th and 27th. We'll get to that at the end of the show and remind you, because there is obviously another Le Mans race going on, which will include a lot of these drivers, that being a full 24 hours. So we're going to allow them some space. We'll be nice to them, but this is still going to be very cool. We'll get to the details of some of the other races. For this one, we'll show you in a second as well. We're just going to start off with the Formula race car. Around here, that's going to be something that you're a little bit similar with, Julian. What are the challenges of Monaco?
The walls predominantly. It's the first time we've done a street circuit now for these guys, and the walls, it's a narrow circuit. The walls are close. Obviously, you hit them, you can pick up some damage. And overtaking, obviously, at Monaco as well, is another thing. It's notoriously hard. I think we're going to see some overtaking. I think the nature of sim racing provides itself a little better to risky moves than it does in reality. But they're the two things, really, hitting the walls and making clean passes. The rest of it, there's challenges everywhere. The tight corners, the nature of the corners, the bumps as well. But overtaking, really, qualifying is going to be important here.
Yeah, incredible. And of course, the Legends guy is going to be back in the Brabhams. That beast around this circuit. Chance we see someone go visit Kimi on the yacht?
We've seen smaller accidents at other places. This is the track where you can have a large flip and find some spectacular scenery. So that car's going to be so difficult to drive around here.
We'll see. We'll see in just a sec. We'll be right back with more. All right, sorry to cut you off, Julian. Welcome, of course, to our Eurosport viewers, and thanks to those of you joining us on the live stream. As we were discussing, Monaco, this is going to be a challenge. And the Brabham, I think you're absolutely right, is going to be extremely, extremely difficult. Before we get too far into it, though, we should probably recap what was last weekend, because it was the finale of Season 2, and Season 2 was an absolute beautiful season in terms of competition. Came down to the wire for a number of drivers. Let's take a look at how that all went down.
Alonso away nice and clean. Immediately sweeps across in front of Button. That was so close.
He's gone walkies. He's forgot what track he's on. He didn't turn into the old chicane.
And Fernando Alonso takes the win in the first Legends Trophy race at Silverstone. But Button across the line in second place wins the Legends Trophy Championship. Team's in all sorts of trouble. Huge crash up there for Nicky Team, and he's got bogged down in some chaos. Oh, big moment for Canapino. His team going to take advantage. He's looking to the right-hand side. There's a spinner. Canapino's up in the air. Team's into ninth. Absolute carnage down the start-finish straight. And Nicky Team is gifted ninth position out of nowhere. Vautier's up into 8th. It is Nicky Team for Aston Martin who wins the championship. We're on board with Simoncic in the top right. Look at that. Him and Huis are right together. And Huis gets the jump.
All he needs to do is get himself involved in a needless tangle, and he's going to hand the initiative straight to Simoncic.
And this is on board with Bono Huis. Whoa, Huis was right in that melee. But here comes Bono Huis, who, by finishing right on the tail of Jernej Simoncic, wins the Sim Masters Championship in the Race All-Star Series powered by Rocket Phones.
And man, oh man, forget nicotine. All you need is Nicky Team to have an exciting and high of a race, because that was incredible. Do have to give a shout out to Gutierrez. Poor guy didn't get off the line in the final race due to some technical difficulties. I know it seems unfortunate, but heck, the same thing can happen in real life should a mechanic make a mistake or the car has an issue. So very cool overall. And Bono Huis as well, another great champion. Both of those guys didn't actually win a race in the season, Julian, but they performed so consistently.
It's the nature of reverse grids, really. It's about consistency in both races, and we've got something similar in the next three races as well. But yeah, they performed well, they overtook well, and they stayed largely out of trouble, which I think, as that VT just showed, it was difficult to do.
Well, with that, we've got a number of drivers getting ready to compete again this week. We look forward to seeing some new additions. Steve Soper, there's a hint for you. Either way, it's going to be a ton of fun on the streets of Monaco, of all places to kick it off. We'll be back in just a sec. Welcome back to the Race All-Star Series powered by Rocket Phones. My favorite toy as a child was a Jack-in-the-Box, and it turns out it's my favorite commentator as an adult. Jack Nichols is going to join us now to make sure we give you guys the best excitement and the best entertainment. He's not agreeing with that. He didn't like that, but I thought that was a good intro, Jack.
Nah, it was all right. As intros go, pretty decent. Really looking forward to this, especially over these next 3 weeks, because the Triple Crown is just the coolest, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And one man chasing it, well, one of two, if you include Montoya, who's still eligible. Fernando Alonso standing by to chat to us about it.
Yeah, let's have a word with him now. Fernando, welcome along again to another season of the race. The Triple Crown, something you've been going for in the real world. How's it comparing in the virtual world at the moment?
Well, hello, everyone. It's not the same, especially Indy. I think the danger and the speed of Indy is something that you cannot feel much on the simulator. But yeah, it's quite a challenge because we race in 3 different circuits with 3 completely different cars and different driving styles. So I think it's a good challenge for all of us.
Do you think your reverse grid race will go as well as it did at Silverstone last week?
100% not. I think it's gonna be a challenge. I think during practice, when you meet some traffic, you stay behind. There is no way you can overtake. So yeah, it's gonna be the same for everyone. So try to have a clean race 1, a clean race 2, and let's see the outcome.
Cool. Best of luck. Thanks for talking to us.
Well, we said he's one of 2 drivers chasing it. Obviously, that's been the big story. In some ways, it's kind of reinvigorated this Triple Crown, Jack, because it's been look, Graham Hill's the only one to win it, but it's been one of those conflicting things because obviously Monaco and Indy are the same weekend. Le Mans oftentimes conflicts, but Alonso opened it up again, and it's made it very prominent once more. Yeah,
it's really cool. I remember being in Monaco when Alonso missed it to have his go at the Indy 500, and everybody went to the McLaren motorhome afterwards. It became a really big deal, which was super cool. But as you see, there's 2 drivers who are still sort of in contention for it. Juan Pablo Montoya is the other one. We can speak to him now, I think. Juan Pablo, winner of the Monaco Grand Prix and the Indy 500. How are you looking forward to these 3 races that we've got coming up over the next 4 weeks?
It's pretty exciting. It's kind of crazy because I think most of us are going to run Le Mans as well. So it's going to be 4 very hectic weeks. I'll tell you, Monaco's been a lot of fun. I don't get a lot of running compared with most of the people because I'm sharing the simulator with my kid. So it's like, while everybody's been running probably last hour like really intense, I'm sitting watching TV while he practices for his race.
Great. And I guess the question you must always get is, are you ever going to do the Le Mans 24 hours and try and do that Triple Crown?
Well, I did it with United Autosports a couple of years ago. We finished third in class, so it was pretty good. Hopefully, with the new rules and everything, we get an opportunity to go there and try to win that.
Cool. Best of luck for today.
Thank you.
That's an interesting point as well about the new rules, because that will open, obviously he races in the IMSA championship. That will open up some of those teams to be able to go over and compete. We know the LMP2s can mix and match, but not so much the DPI class. So that would be interesting. And of course, Alonso's been all the news, but Montoya is definitely a capable driver overall. We're going to look now at the track map. Monaco, we know that it's challenging, it's twisty, it's on the streets. It often becomes the parade of the principality. Overtaking is the difficulty. But as we say, in these Formula race cars, there might be more of a chance because you've got DRS, you've got a little more speed. Julian, you touched on it as well. It's a bit more likely in sim that people might take a few stabs. And then the Brabham for the Legends. Jack, what's your thoughts on that?
I think that the Legends Brabhams are going to be interesting because, of course, this is probably the first circuit that is basically the circuit that these cars would have been on, because Monaco has not changed barely since 1929 and the first race there that was won by William Grover Williams. So really looking forward to seeing how all of these drivers get on track in a couple of moments' time. Not too far away from racing starting.
Well, the Rocket Triple Crown on the Race All-Star Series is about to get underway, and I can't wait for it because this is going to be as interesting as ever. Pro, Sim, and Legends categories, just as always. And you start off, I think, on perhaps the most technically challenging track, but that's up for debate. And I know that many people would argue that Indy is with its, high speeds, or that Le Mans is given its, endurance aspects. Three very different disciplines, but first and foremost, as I say, Monaco and Julian, you've been here. This is the best person to talk us through this.
Yeah, so I think most people will know the Monaco track. They'll know all of these ones because they're so iconic. But this hill here up to Massenet is so steep. You crest it into this quick left here. Massenet, really easy to crash on the outside because it's cambered. And then Casino Square, very famous. Into the hairpin section around the bump, which looks like they're still doing on the simulator, surprisingly. Because it's fashionable. Into the hairpin section, then there might be some overtaking into Mirabeau or the Lowe's hairpin. That's the place that you can risk it a little bit in real life as well. And I think the simulator, they might be able to go side by side a little more easily. And then this is the most common overtaking place, the tunnel into the chicane. Difficult braking zone, easy to lock up over the bump. We've seen so many accidents, even though they've smoothed it out quite a lot there. And then into the fast stuff. Comes so thick and fast, these corners, to back into the swimming pool. Just a tiny hint of a lift there. And then they opened up the second part of the swimming pool. Big snap of oversteer on the exit. Easy to get it wrong on the entry as well. Just ask Max Verstappen. I remember Stoffel Van Dorn in Formula One hit that one as well. Through Rascasse and over the line. It's pretty breathless stuff, but what a lap. It's my favourite track to drive, definitely.
Very, very impressive lap, and we'll see lots more. As always, we've got more for you guys as well. You can check out the Rocket competition. If you'd like the chance to win a Rocket phone featuring 3D screen technology, just go to rocketphones.com and tell us, what is the name of the former Formula One Vice World Champion who currently drives for the Rocket Venturi Formula E team? Not only that, there will be some great offers available exclusively to race fans on rocketphones.com right now, with huge discounts of up to 60% on selected handsets. Still want more? Well, we've got you covered. You can also receive a free pair of Rocket earbud headphones when you buy any phone. All you need to do is enter the promo code RACEOFFER. This contest is open to all race fans, no matter where you live in the world. So why wait? Head to rocketphones.com right now to check out the deals. And what a race offer it is. We're about to get started in 1 second. The Race All-Star Series powered by Rocket Phones and the Rocket Triple Challenge. We've got some incredible drivers to get started once again, and we are about to And just as quick as that, on the streets of Monaco, qualifying for the pro drivers coming up any second, Jack.
Yep, really looking forward to this. The pro drivers, the real world racers. We've got the Sim Masters and we've got the Legends Trophy all out there on the Monaco circuit. Really looking forward to this one as we get ready to go. Here is a look at some of the entries that we've got. Beitske-Visser and Bruno Spengler for BMW, Bradley Smith and Gabby Chavez for Hyundai, Rocket Venturi have got Esteban Guerrieri and Tom Dillman, Yaya Fey and Agustin Canapino for the Williams esports team. And we've also got the regulars, I suppose. Job Van Eitert, Harry Newey, Tatiana Calderon. Good to see her out there racing. Seb Prio. Tom Ingram, I think, could be a front runner here because we've seen him kind of quiet in the previous season, but I think he's got a chance of hitting the ground running from the off here.
Just want to give a shout out to Ross Gunn, by the way. In practice this morning, he actually severed the cable to his steering wheel. Looked like he was out. Turns out he's a good mechanic as well because he's fixed it, he's back in, and we are on track.
Yes, indeed. Ross Gunn's been racing for quite a long time, actually. I remember going to see him when he was doing BRDC Formula 4, so that must have been at least 5 or 6 years ago, and he had a little sort of rig set up back then. But anyway,
2013.
Esteban Guerrieri. 2013, was it? Thank you for that.
Yeah, his first year in cars, Ross Gunn. Former karting champion.
Very good. Then went on to win the British GT4 class alongside Jamie Chadwick.
There we go. Ross Gunn fact for the day. But let's see then if it's going to come to fruition, mending that connection that he lost earlier on. This is such a tricky circuit then, and we're going to see, it's a short lap, so we should see at least, well, we're going to see 2 time laps, I think. Traditionally, tyre degradation is low as well around this circuit, so the tyres should get better. Normally, the drivers get better, and the second lap would be quicker, really, when it's low degradation.
So Dillman into the Nouvelle chicane, bounces those curbs pretty heavily. Now into Tabak. Got Guerrieri there in the top right as Dillman exits the swimming pool. Down towards Raskas. We go on board with him now through Anthony Noakes, the man whose idea it was to do a race on the streets of Monte Carlo in 1929. Comes across the line, and that is an 18-0 for Tom Dillman, and Oliver Rowland goes to the top of the times. So good to see Oliver Rowland racing, having just finished second in the Formula E race in New York City about, half an hour ago. Here he is going provisionally quickest.
Not a shabby lap at all, that 1 minute 16.6. Dillman is normally very quick, but Rowland has really put a huge margin between himself and the Frenchman. Headley's slower as well, but we haven't got a leaderboard just yet, but Ollie Rowland's time looks to be pretty rapid for now.
Here is Rowland. So, yeah, he's on provisional pole position. A 10th ahead of Agustin Canapino. Yaya Fey's in 3rd. Ross Gunn 4th. Smith, Rowland almost barrel rolling at the chicane. Spengler 6th. Ingram 7th. Prio, Van Uitert and Montoya, the rest of the top 10. But it's Oliver Rowland that's on provisional pole position, and he might, well, I was going to say he might improve. Actually, he still was close after the middle sector, and that chicane is in the middle sector, isn't it? So here he comes across the line. Oh, my apologies, we're looking at Dillman. That's why I'm talking nonsense. Dillman cuts the timing beam, and he goes second. Not quite enough to beat Oliver Rowland, though, who looks like he has secured pole position in what I'm convinced is his first appearance in the Races All-Star Series.
Yeah, I'm convinced on that as well. So it's a pretty good job that from him, straight in, under pole position. As you said, he's a regular on simulators, and he was simulator driver at Renault when I was driving there in F1 as well. He was pretty quick at the time. And now straight to the top, looking like he's going to get pole position. 30 seconds left. Dillman got very close, just half a tenth away, but I don't think anyone's going to be able to stop Rowland.
No, I don't think Dillman's going to be able to end this lap in time. And we're on to the brakes with him into the Nouvelle chicane, but only 15 seconds left on the clock and all out of shape. I don't think that's going to be the one for Dillman. So it looks as though it will be Roland that secures pole position with a very good lap, a very impressive performance for the man from Barnsley. And he has taken pole position for the first of the Triple Crown races in the Race All-Star Series powered by Rocket Phones. So Roland up at the front. There is Dillman in second, Canapino in third, Yejefei in fourth, Job van Uitert in fifth position, Smith in sixth, Guerrieri, Montoya, Gunn and Spengler, the rest of the top 10. But 0.8 of a second between the top 10 is actually a pretty big margin compared to what we're used to, I'd say.
Yeah, short track is very technical. There's a lot of corners, but it is a short lap. And normally around Monaco, the times are separated by not very much. That is true of Roland, Dillman, Canapino and Yejefei. But further back, it spreads out a little bit more.
So Oliver Rowland will start on pole position for the first race of the day. A reminder, we've got 3 races to come for the pros, the sims and the legends. Then a reverse grid race for the pros, the sims and the legends. And the reverse grid will be the top 20 from qualifying reversed. So we will see who is in 20th place on the next page. And that'll give us an idea of who's going to be starting from pole position. I bet we don't go to the next page now. As soon as I say that. Oh, no, there it is. And so it'll be Beitske Visser on pole position. She's already had a pole position in Zandvoort earlier on in the series, in season 2 of the Race All-Star Series. So she will be starting on pole position. But it's Roland on pole for race 1. Tom Dillman alongside him on the front row of the grid. Canapino and Yejefei are on row 2 as we wait for the race in Monaco to get underway. There we go. Decent start from Roland. Very good start from Canapino. Can he get up into second place on the run into turn 1? Yes, he can. Great start from the Williams Esports driver. Dillman drops to third. Yejefei is fourth. Van Uitert in fifth. Prio 6th, Guerrieri, Montoya, Ingram and Di Francesco, the rest of the top 10, very quickly through the first couple of corners, and they managed to avoid a Palmer-esque pile-up at turn 1. Not that I'm blaming you for it, I know it wasn't your fault.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, they managed to avoid a Chicotto-esque pile-up at turn 1,
yeah, there we go.
as you say. And so second place is a notoriously difficult position to start in Monaco because you have the outside and you have a slightly more distance as well to turn 1 because it's curved. And Dillman there losing out to Canapino on a track that is hard to overtake. Let's see what he can do about making it up. The other thing interesting as we head to the chicane, Yejefei's lost a place to Van Uitert as well, who is just ahead and attacking Dillman. But I think Seb Montoya might have jumped that start as well. Look back at the and just saw his car moving before everyone else. Either he had terrific reactions or he was a little bit trigger happy on the clutch.
To the right-hander they come at the Rascasse. Then out. Oh, big moment there for Yejefei, or was it Canapino? It was one of the Williams drivers having a massive slide. I think it was Canapino, and I think he's just about got away with it, but that was a bit of a sketchy one at Anthony Nogues. We're watching Job van Uitert in 4th position, trying to close in on Tom Dillman as they climb up through Massenet, past the casino, under the ABK Beer Bridge, and then drop down the hill again towards Mirabeau. Roland is disappearing here.
He's absolutely pedal to the metal, isn't he? He's really hooked up. And Montoya, I think, came through the pit end of lap 1. He certainly lost a few places. And there we've got Dillman losing places as well. Van Uitert through and Yejefei through as well.
Wow, not a traditional overtaking spot. I remember Button trying to do it on Wehrlein and that didn't end well. But now the fight comes back from Dillman. We're on board with Yejefei. Dillman to the outside. Can't get the job done. So Job van Uitert is up into 3rd place. Yejefei is in 4th. Dillman 5th. And then it's Prio and Guerrieri, the rest of the 7 drivers in that fight up at the front. Oliver Rowland, of course, has won on the streets of Monaco before. The 2017 feature race in Formula 2. Rowland was victorious on his way to 3rd in the championship that year.
He's got some serious pedigree, Ollie Rowland. I think that was with Dams back in Formula 2 as well, with the same team that I managed to sneak a win with around Monaco. So good stuff, and he's putting it all to use. This is a track where a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of mileage makes a big difference. It's a real confidence track, and Rowland clearly has turned up here, first time in the series, and he's putting it all to perfect use. but still just a second away. Canapino's going with him, and then there's a bit of a gap back to Van Uytert. I imagine Dillman must have made a mistake to lose those 2 places. Oh, shunt.
Christodoulou in the wall, got a big hit from behind down at Mirabeau. Not sure who it was that went into the back of him, but Christodoulou has been wiped out there and very heavily into the barriers. Trying to figure out who it might have been, but Roland is still out in front. Canapino in second, a second behind. Van Uytert in third, is in fourth. Dillman fifth, Priaulx, Guerrieri, Ingram, Di Francesco and Michael Benya here now, completing the top 10. Here's a look at the replay. And it is Seb Montoya.
Bang into the wall, Exeter Casino, bang into the back of Christodoulou, bang into the wall again. Oh dear, that was a little messy, a little bit out of control the whole way. And he's trying to make up for lost ground early on, I think, after that start, and making up for it in a bad way. But Seb's young, inexperienced, and I think that might have just got the better of him there.
And I guess Juan Pablo Montoya told us that he gets half the amount of running as everyone else because he's sharing his sim with Seb. I guess that's true the other way around as well, isn't it? That Seb Priaulx can only do half the amount of running as everyone else because he's sharing it with his dad.
Seb Montoya and Seb Priaulx, potentially.
Oh, yes, but I meant Seb
both
Montoya
aren't
specifically.
Yeah. But, it could be true. He qualified quite well, though, Seb Montoya, that is. Priaulx running in 6th right now. But, maybe that's right. Here's Dillman on the back of Yefei, and he was pretty close there, too close into the chicane, and he's just snagged the back of Yefei. But he managed to run through and didn't lose time. That's the beauty of that chicane. You can just cut it, a la Lewis Hamilton last year when he was under similar attack from Max Verstappen at the end of the race.
Juan Pablo Priaulx doesn't quite have the same ring to it, though, does it? I would say same first names for the sons, but different for the lap 5 and 9.
Priaulx is presumably a French name.
Sorry,
Priaulx sounds like a French name, though.
Yeah, but Juan Pablo doesn't. Oh, that was too late for him, Dillman, wasn't it? That nudge across. That was, for me, that was more Raikkonen Sutil.
Yeah, it was a bit, wasn't it? A bit Raikkonen Sutil. 08, maybe? Yeah.
I feel like you're right.
Maybe it should be a Jean-Pierre Priaulx.
Jean-Pierre Priaulx would work, yeah. Okay. Andy Montoya's okay. Anyway, we're getting bogged down in something pointless. Lap 5 of 9. Canapino is now within a second to Oliver Rowland up at the front of the order. Job Van Uytert in 3rd. Yefei in 4th. Dillman in 5th. Sebastian Priaulx is in 6th position at the moment, ahead of Guerrieri. We're on board with Seb Montoya up in the top right as Dillman, despite that nudge and then dropping quite a long way back from he's pretty quickly onto the back again, just half a second behind. That is Yefei in the bottom left. Has huge amounts of streamers watching him, I believe, on his sort of Twitch channels, and he's hit the wall pretty heavily there on the exit of the swimming pool.
Fast corner, and he did run into it, and Dillman is catching again, so he's feeling the pressure, is Yefei, but so far just about keeping ahead of Tom Dillman, who's attacking once again. And remember, Dillman qualified on the front row. He's lost a lot of places at the start of this race, but he is quick all over the back of Yefei, but surely nowhere to go at the top of this hill. Massenet into Casino, the most unlikely of overtaking places, but now there's a chance into the hairpins. But Yefei was a little bit quicker than Dillman through Casino.
Lap 6 of 9. Dillman in the rocket machine behind the Williams of Yefei, down into Portier and out underneath the tunnel again. 0.6 of a second between them as they scream underneath the tunnel, emerge into the bright sunlight of the south of France. Well, obviously it's Monaco, but the Côte d'Azur through to back. He's so much quicker, isn't he? You can see it almost every corner, but he can't do anything about it.
Fancy the Lowe's hairpin's going to be his best chance. He was really close there and nearly actually touched the back of Yefei on the last lap. So that might be, if he doesn't go for the outside, if he goes for Adrian Sutil-esque lunge on the inside, then that might be doable, but it's also a move that regularly ends in tears. Just a little kiss of the barrier, exit of Saint Devote for Dillman, but that should be okay. Just a little bit of perpendicular left front action. But he's dropped back a little bit, hasn't he, this lap? If he's upped his pace and he's upped his consistency, and he's now got 7/10.
Onto the brakes, to the hairpin. Now switching through the double right again. Out through Portier, onto the back straight. The back straight, it's not very straight though, is it? Canapino is still within a second from Oliver Rowland out in the lead of the race, but he is not really looking like he's going to be able to challenge at the moment. Bit of a lock up there from Rowland, and thought Canapino had got that all wrong, but he managed to gather it all up again, about to come across the line to start the penultimate lap of the race.
DRS in play, remember, and Canapino is well within a second. Tyre wear as well was a factor in the last series. 10 cars now. That could be a factor, and Rowland is going to feel a little bit of pressure. 2 laps to go, and the first aspect of this Triple Crown he's got within his grasp, but he's got Canapino right behind him.
Down to Mirabeau. Still Dillman right behind Yeye. He's trying to find an opportunity every way he can, and Peyo is starting to join the fight a little bit. Out or through Portier again, and he's really close this time. This has to be the opportunity. Penultimate lap of the race. Dillman right up behind as they come down into the Nouvelle Chicane. Covers the inside line. Dillman to the outside, bit of a nudge, but there's nothing you can do if you've got the inside covered. Easy peasy for Yeye, and now Seb Peyo is going to join the fight, having a very strong run in 6th place.
Yeah, very good run indeed for Peyo. Dillman, he's got pace, hasn't he? But he's just dropping back from his 2nd place grid spot. He's not got anywhere to go really to try and pass Yeye, and Yiffing's entitled to defend the inside at the chicane. It's very difficult to go around the outside. So classic Monaco. It's about picking your moment, and right now Dillman is running out of time for it. Last lap.
Meanwhile, it's a spin for Ingram. Tom Ingram spins. I think he might have been broadsided by someone as well. He was fighting with Guerrieri, and I think he's managed to hold on to 8th position just about. Here comes Yeye again down into Mirabeau. Again, Tom Dillman is right there. And again, Peyo is getting closer and closer. Looking back from Yeye now.
This is the critical corner for Dillman, but I think he's not as close as he was last lap. I tell you what, he's not far though, coming into the tunnel. I don't think Yiffy got the cleanest of exits. Can Dillman attack into the chicane? He's quite far back. It's just not going to happen from that far back without managing to really come past him on the brakes, but Yiffy was wise to it, covered the middle of the road. That was enough, and that should be good enough. This is tight for the lead.
But it's the final corner of the race. Through the right-hander comes Oliver Rowland, and he's going to just about hold on against Agustin Canapino to win the first race of the day. Very good drive from Rowland. Canapino 2nd, and it's going to be 3rd for Job van Uitert. 4th is Yeye. Guerrieri's got past Ingram on the final lap. Here's a look at the replay again with Dillman to the outside. Sent it, can't knock him for that.
It was a valiant attempt. Max Verstappen passed, I think it was Carlos Sainz there when he started for the back of the grid, and it's a similar move, but he was just further alongside, and Dillman never really had enough of his car on the outside and couldn't make it through.
So Oliver Rowland takes the win after 9 laps of racing. Agustin Canapino in 2nd place, Job van Uitert in 3rd. Yeye 4th, Tom Dillman completing the top 5. Peyo, Guerrieri, Ingram, Ben-Yahir and De Francesco, the rest of the top 10. Bajskovica climbed from 20th up to 11th position. We had quite a few retirements in that race as well, such as the nature, I suppose, of Monaco and accidents. Martin Plowman finishing in 19th position. Tatiana Calderon there in 13th spot. And, I think we've still got cars coming across the line, haven't we? So Ross Gunn as well. He qualified higher up the order, but ended up finishing down in 17th place, albeit avoiding a lap down. Adam Christodoulou in 15th spot, James Poole 14th. But for the reverse grid race, it will be Tatiana Beitska-Visser starting on pole position with poleman there, Oliver Rowland, starting down in 20th place on the grid, which is going to be a tough one for him this afternoon. But we can now speak to our race winner, Oliver Rowland. Oliver, welcome to the Race All-Star Series. Not a bad start with a win.
It was a good start, and to be honest, it was kind of unexpected because I've just done the Formula E race, so I had very little practice. I think I did 5 or 6 laps just before the race started then. And yeah, it's I think it pays off, obviously doing Formula E around street circuits a lot, so it was good.
Are you joking? 5 or 6 laps, like full stop before winning that race?
No. I think yesterday I did maybe 20 laps, then this morning before the Formula E another 20 laps, and then I did 5 just to get used to it after driving the Formula E. But yeah, it was good.
Okay, well, congratulations. Great to have you in the series, and we'll see you for the reverse grid race. That'll be easy.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
All right, see you later. Wow, I thought Rowland was a magician there, that he'd only done 5 laps full stop. But no, he got a few laps in yesterday.
Yeah, and I think it helps a little bit as well that, today, at least in Formula E, they're also using R Factor 2. So there's some similarities because yesterday he was in the charity race with WTF1 on iRacing, and that's much harder to transfer. So he's certainly keeping himself busy behind the wheel. And what a heck of a start for him in this series. Aside from Roland's, I was going to say redemption, but he was never here before, so it's really not. Roland's romp, maybe? I was going to say it was Dillman denied, because obviously went backwards, and then Monaco was Monaco. He couldn't get by Yiffier. You touched on a few spots, maybe, Julian, where you thought he could get inside, maybe take some chances, but it was kind of similar to real life in that the defending was the easier part.
Yeah, it's so tight and twisty that it's difficult to pass. Dillman started second. He shouldn't have been 5th in the first place. He got a bad start. And then he lost 2 places. Van Uytert came through. Yiffier came through. He ended up in 5th and he couldn't make it back through. But I think it was his own errors that put him down there in the first place. And then, Monaco, it is notoriously difficult to overtake. Qualifying is key, but he did that bit fine.
Yeah, and again, it's not like we have pit stops in these long races where because you could tell he had the pace on Yiffier, but he couldn't undercut. He can't overcut. He just has to sit there and find a way by. And obviously, Jack, that was quite difficult. There was a bit of an attempt in the chicane a few times.
Yeah, he was there or thereabouts, but credit to Yiffier. He did a great Benoldi and kept him behind for the whole of the race. I think the reverse grid race is going to be really interesting. I think we'll see more overtaking than we would have thought. That was a good classic battle up at the front on 2 similarly paced drivers. Okay, Dillman had a bit more speed, but not like a lot of more speed. Whereas the reverse grid race, can Beitska-Visser hold on to win from pole? I think that would be really cool, but I think she's going to be under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, and certainly guys like James Pole as well, who have inconsistency, I would say, good over 1 lap, but then kind of struggle for a bit. They'll have a chance to be further up. It's really just going to be about making no mistakes at the front, you would presume. Maybe easier said than done, Julian. I know I struggle with that all the time, but maybe it's different for these guys.
If you're going to start a race from reverse grid pole, Monaco is the best one for it. I mean, it is difficult to overtake. Keep yourself out of trouble. Remember, they've only got the next slowest qualifier starting just behind them. It's not like they got Rowland breathing down their neck immediately, and then just keep a clean head and go for it. But I say that it's going to be easier said than done. It's so difficult to drive anyway around Monaco with the pressure of leading when you are kind of the slowest driver. It's not going to be easy.
Well, Jack, I think the defending demon is standing by right now.
Yeah, let's catch up with Yiffier, shall we? After a great defensive drive, like you say. Yiffier, congratulations. A really good fight there, and you managed to hold on to 4th spot.
Yeah, it was a very heated up race. It was only 9 laps, but I was really fighting for my life. I really loved. And yeah, the start was quite chaotic. I think there was a huge crash from P5 onwards. P5, and we were lucky to escape from the field. I think Then I think coming to the corner right before the hairpin, I got slightly pushed by Jochen Eiter, so I got to P5, and I was following the train, obviously, and then Tom Dillman made a mistake, so Jochen and I could manage to pass Tom, but then I was struggling a bit with my tires, so in the midpoint of the race, and I had to defend Tom, like, let's say every lap in the remaining 5 laps of the race, and we raced fair and clean, and at the end we finished with P4, which I'm quite happy with, and shame. I think we could have gone for podium finish if I wasn't counted in first lap, but that's part of the race. So and looking forward to the second reverse grid race.
Congratulations anyway. Yeah, it was a really entertaining race.
Again, we welcome you back to the All-Star Series powered by Rocket Phones. The Triple Crown is underway. The pro drivers have had their first go at it. And we just heard there's been some talk of tires. We haven't heard that over the last few weeks, but maybe Monaco sliding a little bit more, keeping it tight and fighting the car between the walls is more of a factor. So keep that in mind when we go into the sim race. Jernej Simoncic has to be one of the favorites, but there's a number of names, including Erhan Jajovski, who can challenge him at any time.
Yeah, some really strong entrance in there. Petr Berliak is one to watch out for. Kevin Siggy has always been at the front as well. And of course, Mike Epps, the sort of real world racer that's been chucked into the sim races because he's a bit good. So exciting to see what's going to happen. There we see Michi Hoyer for Burst Esports chucking it into Sandevot now and starting to climb the hill. Looking forward to seeing what all these drivers have got. Michi Hoyer down into Mirabeau. A little bit of a lock-up on the right front. Reasonable first sector. Then into the hairpin left-hander. Really swings the rear end out there, doesn't he?
No wonder they're degrading the tyres. Sliding like that out of the low speed. That's just going to root the rears. And Michi Hoyer presumably going for a one-lap special if he's going to be aggressive like that on the throttle on the exits. He's halfway around the lap already. Into the chicane. Then he's just got mainly the fast stuff coming up to back the swimming pool and then the Ras Kass. Let's see what he can do. Full commitment. I'm expecting these sim drivers to look spectacular through here. Absolutely perfect with their lines. And he's right up to the wall, indeed, on the exit of the swimming pool. Into the Ras Kass. Neat and tidy again. Now jump on the throttle through Anthony Nogues up to the wall. Gave it a bit of margin. And now let's see what he can do up to the line. Blakely's top at the moment. Michi Hoyer does not beat him, 4th place.
Yeah, immediately 5th because Yuri Kasdorp gets up into 4th place. Lucas Blakely then 4 tenths clear of Muhammed Patel. Leon Duval is in 3rd place at the moment. Gergo Baldi comes across the line to go 5th. Dawid Mroczek in 7th place. Here's Lars Brugman coming through the right-hander of Portier and under the tunnel. But Lucas Blakely, 4 tenths clear of the rest of the field, is a pretty big lap at the moment from the Scot. You can hear an interview with him on the Race Esports podcast a couple of weeks ago. And we've got 90 seconds left on the clock. Blakely is pitted, so he's happy with that. Patel 2nd, Duval 3rd, Kasdorp 4th, Baldi, Hoyer, Mroczek, Cazaubon, Pawlowski and Siggy. The rest of the top 10, Siggy is 2nd away. That's quite the surprise as they come through the right-hander and out onto the finish straight. Lars Brugman goes up into 5th place. Good lap there, but yeah, surprised to see Siggy so far away.
I wonder if he's going for a 2nd lap. There's still time, so if Siggy didn't take too much out of the tyres lap 1, he might be able to improve 2nd lap. Pawlowski's gone 6th. Blakely's got a huge margin on the rest of the field. I tell you what, Ollie Rowland's time is not too bad, really, compared to these guys as well. With his few laps, he's basically in the top 10 in this bunch. I mean, his pace is looking even better now. The regular sim drivers are not able to. Well, only Blakely's into the 15s.
Here's Adam Maguire in the GPVWC All-Stars team. Erhan Jajovski across the line, and he goes Does he stay in 27th? So I wonder if they're trying to do the reverse grid trick, your Siggies and your likes. I don't know. I just can't imagine them being that far off the pace. Here comes Adam Maguire. The reverse grid rules have changed since the last race, so it's now just the top 20 that get reversed. Maguire a little bit loose coming out of Rascasse, then not troubling the apex at Anthony Nogues. Here comes Maguire, cuts the timing beam, and he goes into 7th place. So a good lap in the end there from Adam Maguire. Peyo Peev 25th, but we've got Lucas Blakely, who is at the top of the order. A very impressive drive from the Scot. Muhammed Patel in 2nd place, Liam Duval 3rd, Yuri Kasdorp 4th, Lars Brugman 5th. Worth pointing out as well that if one of these sim racers wins the Triple Crown, they get $25,000 US in prize money. They all get an entry fee to appear anyway in these races, but win all 3, you get $25,000 US. Same is true of the other drivers, the pros and the legends, but their $25,000 would go to charity if they win all of them. So Kamil Pawlowski 6th on the grid, Adam Maguire 7th, Gergo Baldi there in 8th position. Completing the top 10, we've got Michi Hoyer and Dawid Mroczek, the two teammates. Thibault Cazaubon in 11th place ahead of Kevin Siggy in 12th. So that can't have been an attempt to get reverse grid for Siggy, because he's just stuck in the midfield. Leon Bock running in 15th position, just ahead of Mike Epps. David Greco in 17th place ahead of Jan van der Heijden, Alen Terzic, and Daniele Haddad will have reverse grid pole. And then we've got Michael Romanidis, Robin Pansar, Risto Kappet down in 23rd place, Manuel Biancolilla. So many of these drivers, I'm quite surprised how far down the order they are. The first Sim Masters race about to get underway in Monaco. Lucas Blakely on pole, Muhammed Patel alongside him on the front row of the grid. The charge down to Sandovot begins. Pretty decent start from the top 2. Duval defending from Kasdorp, who looks to the outside. Can Kasdorp get a bit of 3rd place? He's been put in the wall. They're going to be side by side for 3rd. Up the hill through Massenet, and Duval just holds on ahead of Yuri Kasdorp, with Maguire in 5th and Michi Hoyer in 6th. Mroczek, Brugman, Pawlowski and Baldi, the rest of the top 10 as they come down the hill into Mirabeau. But a very clean start for Lucas Blakely. He's away ahead of Muhammed Patel.
Nearly a second gap as well for Blakely. That's gone very well for him. Maguire, nice start from him, gained a couple of places, and everyone ahead pretty much held station. I think we've got a yellow flag further back as someone has found trouble. I think it's Brugman, who qualified, he qualified well up, didn't he, in about 5th. So Brugman is dropping all the way down the back of the field.
Blakely leading though, Patel 2nd, Duval 3rd. We're on board with Michi Hoyer up in the top right as he comes into back. And there is Brugman. So yeah, you're right, down to 28th position. A big loss for Brugman, and that is going to cost him a lot of points over these next 2 races. We're on board here with Baldi right up behind Mroczek as we come down towards Sandovot. Tucked right underneath the rear wing. Looks to the outside. Not able to do anything about it as he got in too deep. He's got a run here, but up through Massenet isn't going to be an overtaking opportunity, he says. Looks to the inside, and no.
Super close, but that would have been just a crash if Baldi had gone for that inside, and it nearly was a crash on the exit anyway. He got a bit overexcited as he crested the exit of Castino, but managed to neatly keep it out of the wall. So difficult to overtake at the top of Massenet. It's really kind of one line through the corner. Very difficult to go around the outside. He almost had a look at the inside, but I think Mroczek was always going to come back to take the normal line, so it would have been a bit of an accident. At the front, Blakely now has 2 seconds to Patel. That's going very well for him.
Yeah, it certainly is. He's keeping that qualifying pace into the race as well. We're on board here with Yuri Kasdorp, trying to close down Liam Duval in front. Duval maybe just a little brush of the wall there as they come up into Rascasse once again. 9-lap race. They're about to start lap 3 of 9 already. Erhan Jajovski's up into 26th place. Peyo Peev 27th. Leon Bock, I think, has dropped down the order and is in 29th position as they climb up the hill again. Bit of a lock-up from Duval. Kasdorp is right behind him. This is the closest battle on track there. And, bit of a twitch from Duval as well. Coming out through Casino Square. And Kasdorp's going to have a chance here down into the Nouvelle Chicane.
Oh, Duval's getting pretty loose. I think he might have just clipped the wall on the inside of Massenet. Kind of rear-ended it. It looked like he did a handbrake turn into Lowe's hairpin, the way he oversteered off the brakes into the corner. And Kasdorp is very, very close. These two ran side by side lap 1, and Kasdorp has not let Duval get away at all. Big pressure being applied, but again, Monaco difficult to force your way through. You've got to wait for your moment, wait for your rival ahead to make a slight error, get offline, lock up or something. And Kasdorp right now looks like he's got the pace. This is for 3rd place, but he's just got to bide his time and strike when he can.
That 4 of 9 now, started by Lucas Blakely. Down towards turn 1. Muhammed Patel in 2nd place. There is Liam Duval in 3rd place. Does a bit of commentating in his spare time. Commentated on my race the other day.
You had a race the other day?
Yeah, last Tuesday. Don't want to talk about it because I was very, very poor, but Liam Duval was commentating.
How the tables have turned.
Yeah.
What happened?
No, I had a shocker. It was Paul Ricard, and I couldn't get on board with the track. You know, I really don't want to talk about it, but lap 4 of 9. This weekend, though, this Tuesday, Brands Hatch Indy Circuit touring cars will be better there. Lap 4 of 9, anyway. Blakely leading. Patel
second. Are you diving in for this commentator's race?
What commentator? Yeah. You've got to get the practice in. Here's a replay. Oh, there's the move made for Erhan Jajovski. They're both sideways through Casino Square. That was quite dramatic.
Splendid catch. Really brought. I thought Jajovski was going to hit the wall on the inside, but nicely through with a load of oversteer. Exeter Casino. But Jajovski, he's a former champ. He's 23rd. Kevin Siggy is up to 9th. He's actually making inroads here, Siggy. We were surprised how low he qualified, but he's making up some places. But Jajovski, really, he's another one that I don't know if he was going for reverse grid, but he was about 3 seconds off in qualifying. If he was going for that 20th place in reverse grid, he really got it horribly wrong because he's going to be starting from the back in both races.
I don't know what to make of it. I just can't think that they were doing that, even though that's kind of the only explanation for them being so far off the pace, you would have thought.
We normally get about 10 of them within a tenth. And this time you got Blakely on pole by 4 tenths. Sure, that might be a standout lap. But the gap between the field was so big, and some of our usual front-running championship protagonists are barely making the top 20. Some of them don't, and some of them just about do.
On board here with Jannick Bock as... we're on board with Brugman, who's trying to pass Jannick Bock. Not able to get the move done there as he tries to recover up the field after his poor start. Blakely still out in front. 3.3 seconds clear of Muhammed Patel. This is quite a drive from Lucas Blakely on lap 6 of 9. We're on board now with Gergo Baldi, running in 7th place, right up behind Dawid Mroczek and then Michi Hoyer. But those two are teammates in front, so Baldi's not going to want to get... he's going to need to be careful that he's not outfoxed here.
Difficult to outfox in the defence, though. Baldi's just got to try and attack Mroczek, and then when he's between them, then he can be outfoxed a little bit more easily. But I tell you what, overtaking one of them will be happy days around Monaco. We've seen very few passes so far. Of course, we've got the reverse grid races coming up, which I expect many more passes and much more chaos. But so far, everyone's been very neat, tidy, and respectful. Baldi is close, though. Look, tucked in behind Mroczek into the fast corners. Nothing to do through these ones. Wait for the Rascas, but it's so difficult to follow through the fast corners as well.
The legends are coming up after this race in classic Formula One cars around Monaco, which is going to be really cool to watch. Looking forward to that one. As we go on board again with Lars Brugman, still trying to get past Leon Bock over 26th place. Through the swimming pool and now towards Tabak. Through the left-hander, keeps it going. And they're all up actually behind Pierluca Amato, aren't they? That's where the queue kind of starts. In the top right, we're watching Yuri Kasdorp. Still trying to get past Liam de Waal in their battle over third place. Here we go. This is going to get busy here. 3 wide. Are we going to go down into Sainte Devote? No, we're not. Brugman tries to take advantage of all of that, and there's a spin. And all of that promotes Jannick Bock up into 25th place. Someone's upside down further back as well.
2 deep into Sainte Devote. Always it's just so tempting when you finally get your chance to absolutely Hail Mary it, and I think we basically had 2 drivers doing the same thing and both going deep into Sainte Devote, and that caused a bit of a traffic jam behind. If you can make it through, you can make up a nice handful of positions, and that's what some did at the expense of some others.
Lap 8 of 9, penultimate tour. Blakely now 3.8 seconds up the road from Muhammed Patel. Liam de Waal is in 3rd spot, still just ahead of Yuri Kasdorp. Gergo Baldi in 7th position, trying to pass Dawid Mroczek still. This is Thibault Cazaubon up behind David Greco as they come through the right-hander of Sainte Devote and now start to climb up towards Massenet. Through the left. Through the right and down the hill. Greco holding station at the moment. Back to de Waal versus Kasdorp. Into the Nouvelle chicane. Still nothing that Yuri Kasdorp can do.
This is where the likes of Betska Visser, who starts the next pro race from pole position, she's got to be looking at this and thinking, right, it is difficult to overtake. Maybe she doesn't have the pace, but it's not too dissimilar to those around her. And keep it neat and tidy, like Liam de Waal, like Yaya Fay in the last race. And that's what you've got to do. The pressure is pretty immense from Kasdorp right now. It was the same from Dillman in the last race. But with no mistakes, it's a narrow track. There's no major overtaking chances. And it's quite frankly, it's not too hard to defend if you keep your wits about you. And Yuri Kasdorp's been tucked in about half a second back for so many laps, pretty much the entire race. And we're on to the final lap, and it looks like he's not going to get the chance to pass.
Final lap of the race then. Blakely, 4.3 seconds out in front. Really strong drive from Blakely. There is Michi Hoyer. Here is Blakely though. What a drive this has been from the Scot. He's coming now towards the final couple of corners. Through Raskas, through Anthony Noakes, and out across the line to win the Sim Masters event in Monaco. Dominant performance from Lucas Blakely. Absolutely superb drive. Patel is going to finish in 2nd spot. It's going to be 3rd for Muhammed Patel. For Liam de Waal after a good drive from him too. But I just can't get over Blakely's domination there. Absolutely superb.
He's a man that's had his Weetabix this morning. He's absolutely wiped the field away. Nearly half a second clear in qualifying. And he's demolished everyone, to be honest. Patel, good job in 2nd. De Waal, good job to keep Kasdorp back, but no one was even close to Lucas Blakely in quali or the race.
So, here's a look at the results. Lucas Blakely taking the win. Muhammed Patel finishing in 2nd spot. 3rd for Liam de Waal, Yuri Kasdorp in 4th, Michi Hoyer in 5th. But a lot of surprising omissions from the front of the order, the likes of Kevin Siggy. Adam Maguire doing a good job to finish in 10th position in the other GPVWC All-Stars car. Mike Epps and Jan van der Heide, both representing Zansho Simsport, finish in 12th and 13th ahead of Robin Pansar. David Greco in 15th spot. Thibault Cazaubon in 16th position. Michael Romanidis in 17th with Csuti, Haddad and Petr Berliak, the rest of the top 20. And Daniele Haddad is going to be the driver that starts on pole position for the reverse grid race. But then you've got Jajovski 23rd. Bock and Brugman had their fight. Peyo Peev, the Bulgarian, in 22nd spot. And Leon Bock finishing in 30th place. Jannick Bock it was who was fighting with Brugman over 25th position. And we can now hear from Liam de Waal. Liam, great to have you with us. A 3rd place, but you're under quite a lot of pressure throughout that race.
Yeah, it was so close between me and Yuri already at the start. He had a really good start, tried to stick around the outside. I just about held it, and then he just kept pressuring me. It was really tense. I didn't have the lap counter on, so I was kept waiting to see 1 lap to go in the bottom left of my screen. And finally it came, and yeah, I'm really happy. I got the 2 podiums already, but they were all in race 2s. To get this podium here is really a great feeling, yeah.
Great. Well, congratulations and best of luck for the reverse grid.
Thank you so much.
So, Liam de Waal, 3rd place finish. Only just, though. Tight race.
I was kind of hoping he was going to touch on your race last Tuesday. I kind of wanted to do that interview and just ask about that, Jack, because it's not looking good for you now in this commentator's race. The more I hear, I might have to do some investigating myself.
I've nothing to say to you with an attitude like that. It's disgraceful.
Pretty impressive race from Lucas Blakely. We don't often talk about the correlation of different sims to each other aside from physics, but the fact that he's an F1 esports driver means he might be slightly more familiar with Monaco, as that's part of their season, very much part of that game and that sim. Maybe that's part of it, Julian, because he was familiar, he was gone, and he's not really been at the front of the field in the past.
He's been all right. He's had moments, but he's never looked like he was going to dominate like he just has now. But Monaco is a track where experience, being comfortable with the track limits and the bumps, the curbs, the quirks of the place really makes a difference. We saw that with Ollie Rowland. He knows the place well. He's won it in reality. And yeah, Blakely will know it well as well from his F1 game stuff. And he was just absolutely bang on it from the first lap.
Yeah, well, he was super impressive. I was blown away by that. It goes to show as well, winning the Triple Crown, he now becomes, this is the thing, I think it's just the front races. I'll get clarification. I'll check the rule book. It's just the first races, the qualification, not the reverse to get the sweep. So he now puts himself as the first man in contention. But as he's not been maybe as impressive, as you say, he's had moments on the other circuits, the other styles. That's going to make it more difficult, Jack, to try and sweep this.
Yeah, well, he was actually quite interesting on this in the Race Esports podcast that we did a couple of weeks ago. And he, it's that consistency that he doesn't quite know how to get yet. Because you remember, he did really well at the Nürburgring in the very first race I think we ever did on the Race All-Star Battle as it was then. And he did well, but he didn't know how he'd done well because it was his first time even driving R-Factor, I think. So it kind of came together and was the perfect storm, and he did well. Then he's drifted back. Then he's been a front runner a couple of rounds ago. And now to dominate on the streets of Monaco, much like, a first breakthrough win in GP2 for a certain Jolyon Palmer, maybe this will be the same for Lucas Blakely. And now I think about it, actually, Blakely won his first F1 esports event 2 weeks ago, didn't he? That's why we had him on the podcast, and it was at Monaco.
Ooh. Wow, there you go. So obviously he's a bit of a street track specialist, Monaco specialist, as it shows, which is super impressive. Of course, it's been 13 weeks, by the way, if you go all the way back to that Nürburgring very start of this Race All-Star Series, and many of that has been brought to you by Rocket, and every single week they've been giving you a chance like this. If you'd like the chance to win a Rocket phone featuring 3D screen technology, just go to rocketphones.com and tell us, what is the name of the former Formula One Vice World Champion who currently drives for the Rocket Venturi Formula E team? Not only that, there will be some great offers available exclusively to race fans on rocketphones.com right now, with huge discounts of up to 60% on selected handsets. Still want more? Well, we've got you covered. You can also receive a free pair of Rocket earbud headphones when you buy any phone. All you need to do is enter the promo code RACEOFFER. This contest is open to all race fans, no matter where you live in the world. So why wait? Head to rocketphones.com right now to check out the deals. Well, our first hint of the close quarter battles of Monaco did show itself in the sim race. We almost had 3 wide going into turn 1, which did inevitably lead to contact. Now we're going to see inevitable contact in the Legends with the Brabhams. Surely, Julian.
You'd have thought so, to be honest. They're difficult to drive, the cars. Let's say that for starters. The Legends maybe not as used to simulator driving anyway compared to the pros and certainly the sim drivers. This has the potential for action.
We'll find out right now. Legends getting on track for the Race All-Star Series powered by Rocket Phones, and that means chaos. Julian, we were just touching on it during the break. This is going to be chaotic for the Brabhams.
Yeah, it's the difficult cars to drive, and the Legends don't get the mileage and they're not as used to the simulators compared to some of the pros and the sim drivers. This man, Fernando Alonso, has been so fast the last couple of weeks, though. Let's see. I mean, Jenson Button not in this field really helps him to keep that winning streak running, I guess.
So we're on board with Jan Magnussen at the moment as he comes down towards Tabak. Through the left-hander. There we can see him in the bottom left, back on board with Fernando Montoya, Juan Pablo Montoya, as he comes into the right-hander at Rascasse. There you see him in the bottom left, out through the start-finish straight again, through Anthony Nogues, and we'll cut the timing beam down towards Sander Bock to start his flying lap into the right-hander, starting to power on up the hill. Great to hear the sounds of these cars.
Yeah, it is great, isn't it? The classic F1 on this circuit. The first look then at what Montoya can do. A man that's won in Formula One around this track. A man that's only one race win away from the Triple Crown in reality. If he does Le Mans, as we were talking to him about at the start of the show. I tell you what, he's looking quite neat and tidy. And these cars, so often, they're big understeer or wicked oversteer. Alonso there scrubbing the front with a bit of understeer in Poitiers. But that was looking neat and tidy for Montoya.
Alonso onto the brakes into Nouvelle Chicane. Through the left, through the right. You'll notice that the zoom call is slightly ahead of the game. So you'll see Alonso turn in there to Tabak a couple of seconds before we see it in real life, I was going to say. Now into the swimming pool section. Oof, right up to the wall on the entry to the swimming pool. Very aggressive on the exit, and he's on the fastest middle sector of anyone. Is he going to obliterate the field in the way he did at Silverstone a couple of weeks ago? On the power through the final corner now. Solberg does a 1 minute 29.2. Petter Solberg, the former rally champion. Alonso does a 27.8. 1.4 seconds quicker. 0.6 ahead of Montoya. 0.8 ahead of Magnussen. Castroneves. Hélio Castroneves slots into second position. Half a second away from Alonso. That's a very good qualifying performance. David Brabham cuts the timing beam now. And he goes 6th, ahead of Michel Jourdain, Dominguez and Coronel, the 9 drivers to have set the lap time. Is Tonio Liuzzi, but again, Alonso looks strong, but that Castroneves time's really impressive.
Yeah, Castroneves, that's the best we've seen of him so far. These guys can get a second lap in as well. Let's not forget, they've got time on the clock to improve. And Jan Magnussen has improved his first sector. Not much to separate him and Alonso through there. But of course, Alonso, we can see in set top right, is probably also improving. It's the sort of track where you do need to improve with the laps and keep on top of your game. Magnussen right now 4th, maybe a little bit disappointed to be that far down.
Well, we'll see what he's got in the middle sector now. As you say, fractionally away from Alonso in sector 1. Comes through sector 2, and we'll see what he's got. We can see Alonso up in the top right. He's 3/10 away after, big chunk of curb there. So he's on for a better lap here, I think, Magnussen. Might be able to get up onto the front row. Keep your eyes on Alonso as he comes across the line. Did a 27.8 before. He's gone, he's now done a 27.3. Destroying the field again. Magnussen goes second, 0.8 of a second away from Alonso. Here's Tom Coronel, 1.4 seconds adrift after the first 2 sectors as they come out through the right-hander over the start-finish straight. Coronel is 10th, goes up to 8th, and then shouts something. Jason Plato across the line. Montoya 4th, Castroneves 3rd, Plato goes into 13th position. So it's Alonso again who takes pole position. I mean, a bit ridiculous, really, isn't it? I have to say. Here's how the grid will line up. Alonso ahead of Magnussen, Castroneves 3rd, Juan Pablo Montoya 4th, Andy Priaulx 5th, Solberg, Liuzzi, Brabham, Coronel and Jourdain, the rest of the top 10. Good effort from Castroneves, I'd say, Jolien. He's my standout there.
Absolutely. I think that's by far the best we've seen from Hélio so far. And I don't know if he didn't get a second lap or if he didn't improve on it, but his first lap was good enough for 3rd on the grid there.
And I'm fairly sure he's never raced Monaco before or driven Monaco before. Maybe he's been at some point, although you'd think it would have always clashed with the Indy 500. Petter Solberg, 6th on the grid. Tonio Liuzzi in 7th, 8th for David Brabham. Then further back in the field, we've got some of the other legends like Jourdain, Mario Dominguez in 11th place. Steve Soper joining the race for the first time in 12th position. Great to have the legendary British touring car racer there in 12th on the grid, just ahead of another legendary British touring car racer in the form of Jason Plato. So the race about to get underway in the Legends Trophy on the run down towards turn 1. Alonso on pole. Magnussen alongside him on the front of the grid. Castroneves and Montoya on row 2. The Legends Trophy at Monaco is underway. Alonso with another swoop across to chop the front of Magnussen off as they come into Sainte-Devote for the first time. And what's Castroneves doing? He's taken the lead of the race. He's up into... you don't think he did that on his qualifying lap, did you? Because I saw him do it on the on his cool down lap, on his in lap, but assumed that was just because he was on his in lap. But maybe he thinks that is where the track goes. Alonso hits the back of him down into Mirabeau, and Alonso is back in the lead.
And Castroneves is down to 4th, and I think he stayed there actually. But Magnussen and Montoya both through. Yeah, I bet he did do that because he did. And the same as you, I saw he did that on the second lap, but I assumed that was a one-off. But he did it with speed as well, didn't he? So maybe that is why Castroneves saved a good, second or 2 just by going to the right of Sainte-Devote.
Yeah, and it probably doesn't count in the game as cutting the track because it's the pit lane exit, and you're allowed to be in the pit lane exit. So, interesting one there for Hélio Castroneves. We'll see whether he falls back in the order. Solberg in 5th, but it is Alonso, Magnussen, Montoya, the top 3 as they come into Rascasse for the first time. On board with Montoya in 3rd. Alonso out in front as he comes across to complete the first lap. There is Castroneves in 4th place. Montoya in 3rd. Solberg a little bit further back. And we go on board with Jan Magnussen now, running in 2nd spot. A reminder, this is the first race in the Triple Crown Series on the Race All-Star Series, powered by Rocket Phones. After this, we do Indianapolis, then we do Le Mans. See if any of the... I mean, Alonso might well get this virtual Triple Crown here. with the performance he's showing.
Yeah, it wouldn't be surprising, would it, after he's won the last 2 weekends, but both races, he's doubled up, including the reverse grid, and relatively comfortably as well, to be honest. But Montoya and Magnussen so far, keeping him relatively honest. Magnussen just over a second back. Any mistake from Alonso would be punished right now. Here we go then. Castroneves, this is how to go into the lead at turn 1 from 3rd place. Just whoop. Thank you very much. Into the lead. I bet Alonso on the exit of that, he must have been raging. His hard-earned pole position, and then it didn't take him just a couple of corners just to nudge Hélio straight out of the way. But Castroneves has been doing that all the time, by the way. He did it at the start of lap 2 as well. Here we go. Bang. Oh. See you later.
It's a yoke. Lap 3 of 10. Alonso, Magnussen, Montoya. The top 3. And Alonso pulling away now, 2 seconds ahead of Magnussen. But Juan Pablo Montoya is right with Magnussen here. We can see him in the bottom left, wrestling the car down towards the hairpin at Lowe's. Right up behind Magnussen. This is going to be a good fight, I think.
He's got some pace, doesn't he, Montoya? Right, this is going to be a chance here. Magnussen qualified with that second lap, managed to get on the front row, but he's only just ahead of Montoya through the tunnel. I think he's actually just managed to stretch his legs maybe enough extra to put here, unless Montoya... Oh, he's gone in deep. Beauty of a move. Ish.
They're still side by side. Montoya has the inside into the back, and there we go. The overtake is made. Interesting one from Montoya, but he gets the place. Up into the second position.
I think he was making that corner until he had contact from Magnussen, to be honest. I think Magnussen turning into Montoya actually forced them both across the chicane. Because it actually looked like Montoya just measured the brakes that little bit better at first, but then there was contact, and then they both obviously skipped slightly the right-hand part of the chicane, the second part. And Montoya, by virtue of going across the track, takes the place. But I think that might have been okay until they had contact there.
Well, Montoya, whatever the case, is up into second position. And actually pulling away quite quickly from Jan Magnussen, isn't he? Magnussen in 3rd place, 1.2 seconds back. Castroneves in 4th still. Still possibly cutting the corner at Sandevot. Solberg in 5th, Coronel, Priaulx, Brabham, Dominguez and Jourdain, the rest of the top 10. Plato just outside the top 10, but he's lost a lot of time, so I wonder if there's been a collision or something there somewhere for Jason Plato, who was the latest guest on the Race Esports podcast. Here's a replay then, on board with Magnussen. Here comes Montoya.
So he goes in really deep, but then look, yeah, they interlock wheels, and I think that's what stopped Montoya from actually making it round the corner. And then Magnussen's just grinding against the right-hand barrier, which slows him down, possibly even damages the car, which might explain why he's dropping back quicker. But that was a lovely move from Montoya, I think, and he would have made it absolutely cleanly, but Magnussen, probably not expecting the move, just turning in, and they interlock wheels, which forced them both across the chicane. So good stuff from Montoya, and as you said, he's got pace now. Magnussen's dropped back. He's made a big mistake on this lap, but Montoya now is 4 seconds behind Alonso. Let's see from the rest of the race how honest he can keep Alonso in terms of pace.
Here's Priaulx and Coronel fighting over 6th position. Up to Massenet. They then, bit of a slide there for Priaulx as he gets on the power. Trying to chase down Coronel for that 6th spot. Montoya 4.6 seconds back from Alonso. Magnussen 3rd, Castroneves 4th, Solberg in 5th still. And then this battle between Coronel and Priaulx. Then David Brabham, Jourdain and Dominguez completing the top 10. As they come out onto the tunnel into the Nouveau chicane. Is Priaulx going to fancy? He's a bit too far back this time around, I think, as they get onto the brakes into side by side in front. Solberg getting ahead of Castroneves then. So Solberg has got ahead of Castroneves. Coronel still ahead of Peyo.
I think Solberg might have done that around the outside of the second part, so maybe on the inside of the first part of the chicane. But yeah, they were still side by side. Peyo jumped the chicane in the swimming pool. That was looking like a Solberg on the inside, I guess, similar to Montoya. And then he had the outside for the second part, side by side, and better exit. Solberg takes the place.
Coronel still running in 6th spot, but heading straight to the wall, and Peyo then hits into Coronel. So they get away with that one, and they're now both closing in on Hélio Castroneves. Lap 6 of 10. Alonso's lead up to 6 seconds now ahead of Juan Pablo Montoya. Magnussen 3rd, Solberg 4th. Here's a replay of how Petter Solberg got past Castroneves.
He's a long way back. Oh, there we go. Hélio's cut the corner and then rejoined halfway, and that's why they were side by side at that bit. I thought it was strange that they managed to get through that whole first apex side by side, and in fact it was Hélio rejoining the track, and so obviously he knows he can't cut that one.
Yeah, lap 6 of 10 on board with Peyo. Oh, Coronel doesn't though, and he has a little bit of a cut there, but he is still in 6th place, closing in now on Castroneves. Through the left, through the right. Peyo closing in on Coronel again as they come through the swimming pool. Now up into Raskas. Now through Anthony Noakes. Steve Soper out of the race, as you see down there on the bottom left, which is a shame in his first race in the Legends Trophy. The 68-year-old touring car legend who's won the 24 Hours of the Nürburgring in 1987, 24 Hours of Spa in 95, Japanese touring car champion, second in the British Touring Car Championship in 1993 as well. So it's been a great touring car career for Steve Soper. Great to have him here in the Legends Trophy as well, even if he has retired from this one. But, and so is the other touring car legend, Jason Plato, but they'll both be at the front of the order for the reverse grid race a little bit later on this afternoon. After this race, we've got reverse grids for the pros, the sims, and the legends again. But Alonso is absolutely bossing this.
Oh, it's wall. Hard into the wall. I mean, bossing it. He's pushing on, isn't he? Lucky that there's 25% damage and not higher, I think, because he really clattered that wall hard, but somehow got away with it.
So Alonso still leading despite that wall hit. And there is Coronel now coming up to the back of Castroneves. Now let's see what line Castroneves takes through turn 1 at Sainte-Devote this time. Lap 8 of 10 now. Coronel closing in on Castroneves. I wonder, also watch Coronel's reaction if Castroneves does cut the first corner like we've seen him do in the past. No, there we go, he does it right. So he does know how to do it.
Didn't quite do it right. I mean, he still managed to brush the wall heavily on the outside, but at least he took the corner properly. Oh, Andy Peyo's had a bit of a spin, and he's going to just nudge. Is that Dominguez coming back?
Brabham
coming through. So shame for Peyo. Just caught that inside wheel on Portier there. Got the spin round.
On board with Coronel, trying to catch Castroneves. Lap 8 of 10. Alonso's lead now 10 seconds over Juan Pablo Montoya in second place. Magnussen has dropped 4 seconds back from Montoya. We're on board with Peyo in the top right, on board with Coronel in the main screen as he tries to close in on Castroneves for 5th position. Still been a good drive this from Castroneves. Not doing a bad job to keep Coronel behind as they come out towards Raskas again. Alonso's on his penultimate lap of the race as we ride with Coronel through Anthony Noakes once more. into Sander Bock. Not sure he's going to catch Castroneves, you know. He's been closing in on him, but it feels as though Castroneves has kind of found his pace now. As he comes up through Massenet and out of shape and in the wall there for Coronel. That'll cost him a bit of time.
Yeah, that's difficult there. Run the outside of Massenet. The track falls away quickly, and Coronel there just had an oversteer on, couldn't make the apex. And when you run wide of that, you do fall into the wall on the outside. And all trying to push to catch Castroneves in fifth place. But too hard then. And you're right, Castroneves now looks to be settling in more, doing the right track, and at a sensible pace as well. This is definitely, I know he cut the track earlier on, but this is his best showing still, I'm sure of that.
Yeah, definitely. There's no doubt about that. Here comes Alonso out to start his final lap of the race now. 10 seconds ahead of Juan Pablo Montoya in a 10-lap race. That is quite the pace advantage for Alonso as he now climbs up the hill. Here is Castroneves running in 5th position, trying to hold off Tom Coronel for one final lap and hold on to that 5th place. Coronel's getting closer though. Less than half a second now between them, down towards Sander Bock for the final time. We're on board with Coronel. This is the chase on the final lap. Coronel taking a huge chunk of curb now. Up to Massenet. Pulls out. Won't get the move made there. Under the ABK Beer Bridge. Where's the move going to come for Tom Coronel on this final lap of the race?
Castroneves really quick through Massenet and Casino Square. And he's just managed to, that's critical there, because he's managed to gap Coronel before these hairpins. And if Coronel can't find something here, he's going to lose the last overtaking place as well, really, which is coming up on the exit of Portier now into the chicane. And look, he's nearly a second back. He was really quick through the first corner, quick in the last sector, but not quick enough in the crucial corners where it matters. He's miles back now.
But Fernando Alonso out through Anthony Nogues to win the Legends Trophy race in Monaco. The start of his Triple Crown attempt number 2. Juan Pablo Montoya, another Monaco Grand Prix winner, across the line in 2nd place to take a podium finish ahead of Jan Magnussen, who finishes in 3rd spot. Solberg 4th. But Solberg actually was quite quiet in that race. Hélio Castroneves, good drive from him to finish in 5th position. But yeah, I would have expected a bit more from Solberg in that one, Jolien.
He's been making progress every weekend, but it's such a tricky circuit. You've got the 2 former F1 Monaco GP winners, Alonso and Montoya, out front. Magnussen's been quick all the time. It's very difficult for Solberg to compete with them. I'm really looking forward to the reverse grid though. I mean, that's going to be a fascinating race to see what Alonso, Montoya and co can do from the back.
So here's a look at the results then. And it is Fernando Alonso who takes the win. Juan Pablo Montoya in 2nd place. Jan Magnussen in 3rd. Let's speak to the race winner, Fernando Alonso, after a dominant drive there in Monaco. Fernando, a great drive, a second quicker a lap than everybody else. That was amazing.
Yeah, it was good. It was good to have a clean race, even if at the start we saw one car in front that I don't know what happened there. But yeah, I think it was a good race. We knew that the important thing here was qualifying, so we put a lap together, starting first. And now it's going to be much more tricky in the reverse grid.
How much practice are you putting in ahead of these races, would you say?
I think I did like half an hour yesterday and 1 hour today. So I've been concentrating more in the Le Mans 24 virtual that is going to be next week. So yeah, try to be a little bit in both, but not much here in Monaco, no.
Okay, great. Well, we look forward to the reverse good race. Congratulations.
Cheers, mate.
So there we go. Not a huge amount of practice for Fernando Alonso, he claims, heading into this weekend. And to point out, we won't be on air next week because of that race Fernando mentioned, but we will be on for the 2 weeks after that to finish off the Triple Crown. When we come back, the reverse grid races around Monaco are going to start. What could go wrong?
Pretty good race overall. Just to note as well, obviously there are lots of stewards involved with the race. They take things very seriously. So I'm sure they'll look at some of this corner cutting and some of the other stuff a little further down the field. Cornell had a good battle at the end to try and catch Castroneves, but Alonso just walked away.
He's quick, isn't he? He's on it. What more to say? You know, he was too fast for everyone. He got the start. He punted Castroneves out of the way when Hélio cut the corner to pass him. But apart from that, as he said, clean race, and he knows the place very well. He's obviously very up to speed in these simulators.
Thought it was very interesting as well, Jack, that the two Monaco winners were 1-2 in this race. It does certainly, as Julian suggested, experience is key.
Yeah, but also that I'm really amazed by that lack of practice time for Alonso. I really thought he'd have been putting more effort in than that, or more time in than that. Not that he isn't trying, but I expected some kind of crazy number, but that's mightily impressive. Let's speak to Petter Solberg, shall we? Good drive from Petter Solberg. Used to live in Monaco, very successful on the Monte Carlo rallies, but I guess, Petter, that's your first time on the racetrack.
Yeah, on the racetrack is the first time, but obviously we have done actually some rally stages down in the center, early days. We're talking many years back, and but I must say it's fantastic to drive there. It's a very special track, very tricky, very difficult, and I'm a little bit disappointed with my qualifying time for sure because I was much faster on practice. So we will see later, but at the same time. Good run, no crashes, anything special that normally happens very quickly in this track. So we will see later.
Yeah, I think it'll be a different story with no crashes in the second race, right?
Yeah, starting from behind, it's of course will be very interesting, and also Alonso in the back. But Alonso is very, very fast. I don't know where he found the time because on the free practice we were very similar, but now he's just his lap times are incredible. So. I have to check if he's doing any shortcuts,
Okay, well, good luck for race 2. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Ever the strategist, maybe a little bit of sandbagging from Alonso. Perhaps the lack of qualifying pace for Solberg, though, if what he says is true about the pace he had in practice, maybe he's the best position for the reverse grid, Julian, because it's going to be difficult to overtake, but we know he's maybe got pace.
Well, that's the best thing. If you basically underperform in qualifying, you should be better off in the first race, but you will be better off in the second race. So for Solberg, he's one that we mentioned end of the race there, maybe could have been higher up, but actually for the reverse grid, it'll be interesting to see what he can do coming through the field.
And he couldn't use you as an excuse for qualifying this time, Jack, because we waited till after the race.
What is this with everybody giving me... Last week, everyone in the YouTube chat down here started calling me Fat Bottas. Apparently the hashtag Fat Bottas was going on. And it's like, I can't catch a break. It's not,
but that was when he grew the beard
Why does no one call Bottas Finn Nichols? Why can't Bottas be
I think
Finn
when
Nichols?
Bottas put the beard on to look more like you, though, that was when he started winning. So maybe the trick is that he needs to be more like Nichols.
I've just realised the face I pulled did not disprove the Fat Bottas thing either.
Yeah, that look didn't exactly do it for you. You mentioned it, though. We're getting ready for the reverse grids. I have clarification on the Triple Crown. You can win either of the races at either venue, and then Le Mans has a bit of a switch. We'll talk about that when we get there, but for now, we're going to take a break. I've tried to practice saying the All-Star Series powered by Rocket Phones backwards just to be fitting for the reverse grid, but it's a little bit more difficult than you'd think. So here we are getting ready to do it, and it's going to be exciting because now the pro drivers will start us off, and we know already that it's hard to pass. We didn't see many from the pros. The Sims and Legends actually had a few more overtaking opportunities, Julian.
Yeah, but it's going to be all changed now. Reverse grid, I'm really excited for this. I mean, we see reverse grids in reality in GP2, F2, F3 races. And to be honest, sometimes nothing much happens. But this time it's going to be different. There's going to be overtaking, I'm sure of it. And I'm looking forward to seeing mainly what the likes of Ollie Rowland can do, Canapino as well, starting from the back. They're really quick. But can they cut their way through the field?
Well, we are about to find out as we get ready for the reverse grid race for the Pro Cup. I think it's going to be Bijtske on pole position for BMW as we get ready for the charge down towards Saint-Devote for the first time. And it is going to be Visser on pole position. Then it is going to be James Pull alongside her on the front row of the grid. Adam Christodoulou in third. Tatiana Calderon in fourth. Fifth for Martin Plowman. Sixth for Michael Benya here. And then we have got Devlin DeFrancesco behind in seventh place, ahead of James Headley. We've got Tom Ingram in ninth after dropping down towards the end of that first race. Prio in 10th, Spengler in 11th, Ross Gunn in 12th. Waiting for the lights and Bijtske to go charging down towards the first corner. Towards the back of the field, we've got Oliver Rowland in 20th place. Race winner and pole sitter from race one. The cars now are lined up on the grid. Devlin DeFrancesco and Gabby Chavez at the back of the field. But it's Bijtske on pole, Pull alongside her on the front row of the grid. And away they go. Good start from Visser. Pull gets a slow getaway. Christodoulou's up the inside. Tatiana Calderon is looking to the outside. Can she make a move? But it's Visser out in front. Oh, there's chaos. Chaos at Saint-Devote. Visser and Christodoulou have got away. So has James Pull, Benya here and Calderon, but then it's chaos further back from that, I think. But it's Visser who has got out in front. Down into, oh, there's on board with Guerrieri.
Hectic in the middle. Guerrieri's getting attacked from behind. He's just tapping, who is it, Bradley Smith just ahead of him as well. There's a car gone wide. Seb Prio's lost a place to Smith. It's all kicking off in the midfield, but good start from Visser. And again, Christodoulou, the third place man, overtaking James Pull at the start. And now look at the pressure on Bijtske out front. So far, has done a perfect job this lap. But now with Adam Christodoulou breathing down her neck, this is going to be a bit more difficult.
There is Christodoulou in the bottom left. Visser, Formula Renault 3.5 racer, now a BMW driver. Up into Anthony Nogues. Almost a bit of contact there from Christodoulou into the back of Visser. Also a W Series runner-up. Bijtske. Oh, Martin Plowman's in all sorts of strife coming over the start finish straight. Christodoulou's got the drive coming up towards Massenet. Beau Rivage can't get through.
So difficult. It really is sort of funnels into one by one. Christodoulou, huge slide on the exit. That's going to be a chance now for Pull. And Benya here goes to the inside. That's contact. And Benya here pitches James Pull into the wall. Exeter Mirabone. Look, Job van Uytert, who finished third in race one, is third already in race two. Amazing start from him.
Wow, that's brilliant stuff from the Dutchman to climb up the orders so quickly and take advantage of all that chaos, I would presume. There is Bijtske in the bottom left, still leading. Christodoulou still second, but Job van Uytert in third place has a really good opportunity of scoring some big points. James Pull going side by side still with Benya here as they fight over fourth and fifth places. James Headley is in sixth. Smith Guerrieri, Dillman is up into ninth. DeFrancesco in 10th position.
Van Uytert's got a brilliant chance to win this one. Third place behind Christodoulou and Visser, who started third and first, and now look, tucked in behind Christodoulou down to turn one. Can he make a move straight away?
Oh, not quite close enough. Now up into Massenet.
This is where Christodoulou had to make that move on Visser straight away. Now he's under huge pressure. And there we go, up the inside, Van Uyter. That's a really nice, clean move. Mirabeau, it is an overtaking place if you can exit Casino quickly, and he did, and he's through into second place. And now Visser is going to have her work cut out because Van Uyter is so quick there.
Lap 3 of 9 already. Here comes Van Uyter, already onto the back of Beitske Visser, pulling alongside, down into the Nouvelle chicane. And round the outside, lovely job from Job Van Uyter. And there goes Christodoulou as well. Visser drops from first to third into Tabak. Van Uyter runs a little bit wide, but holds on to the lead of the race. What a storming drive this is. I don't think as James Pull goes around, I don't think we've seen, sorry, it was Ben Yahia. I don't think we've seen a double winner in a Pro Cup race, have we? We almost certainly haven't. And we're not going to do this too, because Van Uyter didn't win the first race, but nevertheless, very impressive. Here we go on board with Van Uyter. What happens at turn 1? Sends it through the middle, whacks into the back of Maxime Martin. Everybody else piles up, and he just keeps it floored and carved through the order.
Takes the damage, but takes some places as well. I mean, he basically binned Maxime Martin at turn 1. Oh, that'll do as well. 2 more wipe each other out at Casino. And then he had on lap 2 as well, he had Ben Yahia getting into James Pull as well. So 2 more came away. And suddenly, around Monaco, he's gone from basically the back to the front in 2.5 laps. Unbelievable.
Great stuff from Job Van Uyter. He's now 2.2 seconds ahead of Christodoulou. Visser is third. Looking back here to James Pull behind. And Pull goes for it. Oh, but, well, Visser cuts straight over. Pull is still there. Pull had gone in pretty committed.
I think they both did, didn't they? Both too committed. Yeah. Bradley Smith is now right on the back of them. Oh, Visser's gone in way too hot there. Now this is a chance for James Pull around the outside of Raskas. That's a tricky one, and Visser's... Oh, there's contact there. Visser into the back of Pull, and Visser's lost out. Smith through, and now Smith can chance his arm at passing James Pull as well. Down in towards turn 1 here.
To the inside, Bradley Smith into Sander Vogt. Nicely done. Even sold him a little dummy there, and Bradley Smith gets up into third place. So Job Van Uyter out in front. Christodoulou second, Smith third, Pull fourth, Visser fifth, Dillman sixth. So Dillman's doing a good job as well. Montoya seventh, eighth for Ross Gunn, ninth for Plowman, 10th for Guerrieri. Roland is still 15th, so he hasn't made up a huge amount in these opening laps.
Presumably he just got caught up in a bit of melee early on, because Dillman also started from the back row with him and has made huge gains. This is Van Uyter. This is a lovely move on Christodoulou for second place. There was a bit of a gap up the inside, clean, no contact on that one at all, which is actually pretty rare for a Monaco move. And that was really, really good stuff. And then the move for the lead came just a couple of corners later on Visser. And Van Uyter now 3 seconds to the good. Bradley Smith third, 3 seconds behind Christodoulou. Probably too much of an ask for him to get second. But the battle still rages on. Here's Tom Dillman now behind Visser. Now, you can make a pass in Raskas. I've made one on Canamasas, Sergio Canamasas in GP2, and it was the bravest thing I ever did in a racing car, I think. But it is doable.
Up the inside comes Dillman, and that is 5th place now. Visser drops down to 6th. Montoya 7th, Gunn 8th, Plowman 9th, Guerrieri completing the top 10. And Canapino sets the fastest lap of the race, a 1 minute 17.863. Here's a replay of this move from Job Van Uyter. It was very nice around the outside.
Just had a huge run coming out of Portier, right tucked in behind Visser, and then just better on the brakes, deeper, and just made sure, just kept turning. Visser had nowhere to go, and Van Uyter, he was far enough, you see, alongside Beitske Visser in the braking zone, and that's why he could just turn in and kind of force the racing line.
Ross Gunn attacking 7th. Montoya for 7th position now, lap 6 of 9 in this reverse grid race in the Pro Cup. Gunn through the swimming pool. Someone's had a bit of a lock-up in front. Gunn's got a good run here. No, he hasn't. He's spun around. into the wall for Ross Gunn, and that drops him back a little bit from Seb Montoya in front of him. Ben Yahia has recovered to 16th place. Guerrieri's now in 10th place, just ahead of Yafei. So Yafei's done a good job here, looking to the inside into Sander Vogt, not able to do anything about it. Ingram out of the race, as is Di Francesco. But, oh, what was going on there? Gavi Chavez involved in a fight, and I think he might have suspension damage. Trying to hold control of the car. I think your race is done there, Gavi. Into turn one, he's still trying to go. James Headley goes past him, and it's another shunt for him. Now here's Bradley Smith, right on the back of Adam Christodoulou.
He's reeled them in very quickly, Bradley Smith. I wonder if Christodoulou's made a mistake somewhere, because he's dropped back towards James Poole as well. But Bradley Smith then for second place. He had quite a solid first race, Bradley Smith. This is going to be a big haul of points for him today as well. And even bigger if he can make it past Adam Christodoulou for second place. Remember, they have DRS, and he'll pick it up just about now for the next straight, which can be an overtaking place. Indeed, it was the place that he made it up into third here.
Down into Sander Vogt again. Smith goes to the outside, but Christodoulou keeps that nice and tight. He might get the drove up Beau Rivage, and James Poole, meanwhile, has got a penalty in fourth place, perhaps for excessive track cutting. But Christodoulou holds second for the time being. Bradley Smith right behind him now as they drop down the hill into Mirabeau. Surely can't go all the way around the outside at Mirabeau. No. But this is allowing Poole and Dillman into the fight as well. Lap 8 of 9.
So with James Poole's penalty, there's an irony that Tom Dillman is in a better position in this race, starting from the back row, than he was in the last race, starting from the front row. He's up into fourth place. But here we go, Bradley Smith on the back of Adam Christodoulou. This is lungeable. This is lungeable from this distance, and Christodoulou knows it. He covers the inside, and Smith is going to get the exit, but there's nowhere to go really at the back. So Christodoulou now, a lap and a bit to go. He's just got to make his car as wide as possible, and he's got a chance to keep second.
Whoa, Smith almost into the back of Christodoulou. Here's a look at the replay of Dillman on Poole, coming down into the Nouvelle Chicane, and there we go. That was Dillman going past Poole, and Poole's in the pit, so it must have been a drive-through penalty. Smith is on the outside, bam, bam, wheel bashing, and Christodoulou holds second place, and now here comes Dillman in the rocket car trying to get through. Can't quite make it. Great fight though, onto the final lap of the race.
So close. This is a chance now for anyone in towards Mirabeau. Smith crawling all over the back of Christodoulou, and now a chance for a lunge at Lowe's maybe.
They get right together. Job van Uitert, meanwhile, is already coming down into the Nouvelle Chicane. This is going to be a really commanding drive from Job through the right-hander. At the swimming pool complex he comes. The battle for second is just about going to go the way of Christodoulou by the looks of things. But Van Uitert is going to double podium here. Christodoulou in second and Smith in third. Here comes Job van Uitert across the line to take the win in the reverse grid race at Monaco. On board with Bradley Smith through the final corner, and he's going to hold on. Christodoulou for second place, just at the line, is he? I think he is. Yes, he is, by like a tenth of a second. Beitskevitzer, who started on pole, ends up dropping down into sixth place, but a double podium. I'm going to have to look back through the race all-star annals, but I remember a time where anyone got a double podium before, since we've got these reverse grid races. I may well be wrong there. This is a view of on board with Dillman coming down into Sander Vogt for the final time. Those two went side by side. And that was Dillman's opportunity, but he couldn't quite pull it off. Finished in fourth place. That's going to be good points as far as the championship is concerned. There's no doubt about that, ahead of the Indy race and the Le Mans race that we've got coming up over the next 3 weeks, as ever. Or as I said earlier, we will be off next week. But Job van Uitert takes the win. Adam Christodoulou second. Bradley Smith in third position. Dillman, Pull, Visser, Montoya, Plyman and Gunn completing the top 10 there. Oliver Rowland ended up 17th, second last of the drivers that finished. So very tough race that for Oliver Rowland after that one. But a very impressive drive from Job van Uitert, who joins us now after taking the win in the reverse grid race at Monaco. Job, a double podium and a podium in the reverse grid race at Monaco, having started from the back. Were you expecting that one?
I don't know if you can expect this, but I don't know how I managed to be P5 after a couple of corners, but then I was like, okay, now I'm going to win this. I want to, yeah. But yeah, that was definitely interesting.
Yeah, speechless by the sounds of it. That must put you in a good position as far as the championship is concerned. In fact, you'll be leading the championship, of course, with a first and a third. How do you feel your because that's better than you've managed in the previous series. You're having some good race 2 performances. Yeah,
definitely. This was basically the first time I had a good performance in race 1. I always gambled a little bit on having a better starting position for race 2, but this time I was like, okay, let's just try it, and it actually worked out very well. But I'm eager to see how I do on an oval.
Yeah, have you done an oval before?
No.
Interesting. I think we're all looking forward to that. We'll see you then, Job.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So great to hear there from Job van Uitert then. Double podium. Like I say, don't think it's been done in the era of reverse grid races, but could be wrong, Matt. Usually am.
I was thinking about it. Nicky Thiem might have been the only one in the pro class to have done that prior, but I'm not even sure that he did. So you could be right, Jack. I'll give you the benefit on that one, because it was pretty difficult last season to think about that anyone would do it. Obviously, Alonso did it in the Legends, but that's a whole different story altogether. Nonetheless, that means he's now eligible for the Triple Crown as well, because, again, you've got to win one on each venue. Him and Oliver Rowland, who didn't perform so well, both in with a shout still for at least the triple.
I think something that's really interesting me, Matt, based on what Job van Uitert just said, is that the oval running order could be totally different. We know the running order for these Formula race cars on a regular track. We know who's going to be, Dillman's going to be quick, so-and-so's going to be quick. But it might be totally different on an oval. We just don't know. I'm really interested to see what happens next time.
Yeah, and of course, we obviously did an oval on this series previously, but that was for the Legends only. So we didn't actually get a sample from the pro and sim drivers. You're right. It could be completely different. Jolien, you said it at the top of the show. Indy's right place, right time. It could be the hardest to win in that sense, because there's a lot of luck and strategy and drafting that goes into it. A lot of circumstances out of the driver's control. So we'll see how that plays out. I do have to ask you, though, Jolien, we've got a new segment, the Rocket Driver of the Day, which I'd like to get your opinions on just in a second here. So, Jolien, pro driver of the day for the first and, I guess, the start of this series in Monaco.
I'd say a shout out to Ollie Rowland, because that first time in the series, pole and the win was very good, but it's got to be the man that did the best job, hasn't it? It's got to be Job van Uitert. Third, first in Monaco, driver of the day.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I would have plucked for Oliver Rowland. I would have, bigged him up a bit. I thought he was really, really impressive, I have to say. But with this one, you're right. There's just no option, is there?
No, I have to agree with that as well. Obviously gets himself a win, which puts him in for a chance at the Triple Crown. Somehow the seas parted for him. I might start calling him Moses at the start, because he just drove through all the carnage. But another man who was on the podium, we're going to see how he did it and with what equipment, was Bradley Smith.
Hi guys, David Bradman here. I hope everybody is well. During COVID-19, I've been competing in the Race Legends Trophy with some of the most amazing drivers that have ever graced our planet. Anyway, I just thought I'd show you my simulator that All In Sports actually sent over to me. I didn't have a simulator before all this Legend stuff started, so I've been able to do all the races, which is pretty cool. And it's really amazing how the feedback you get from these simulators. It's unbelievable. It makes you really do feel like you're a driver again. And the feedback through the wheel, the brake modulation, the throttle, the oversteer, the understeer, yeah, it's pretty cool. I understand, you know, Alonso and Hélio Castroneves and Emerson Fittipaldi, we're all got the same rigs, so it's pretty cool to be sharing something like this with them. I'm looking forward to the next 3 races. It should be a lot of fun at Monaco, Indy and Le Mans, which is a track I think I know a little bit about. So I look forward to it. Thanks.
Bradley Smith, David Brabham, all the same person. They may have reversed those on me, but either way, another man who's using the all-in sim setup, which is quite prominent and very, very good, Jack.
Yeah, and it must be difficult for those guys when they know they've got the same kit as Alonso and he's just doing what he's doing. That's where it gets tough. If you've got different kit, you can blame them.
Have you got the same as that?
No, I haven't. I have just bought myself a Playseat Challenge, though. It's this little one that like folds up into itself. Now I think about it, I do enough series with Playseat that I probably didn't need to buy one, but there we go. I have, and we'll see that. But maybe that's where I'm going wrong because, as previously mentioned, I'm rubbish at sim racing.
Well, we get ready to go again for the Rocket Triple Crown on the Race All-Star Series, and it will be the Sim Masters that we see next. Masters of Sim, something Jack has finally admitted that he is not, but he's good at talking about them. And Jack, this race could mean a lot for some of these guys coming off the reverse grid. We know there was some carnage in the first race and people looking for redemption.
Yeah, and I think some of the drivers that didn't qualify well for whatever reason, again, I'm convinced that your Siggis and your Jajovskis of this world weren't intentionally going towards the back of the grid. But whatever the case, they've got a chance for redemption, as you say, to put themselves in the mix for the championship going forward. So really interested to see what happens in the reverse grid sim race, because that's where we've said it before all of last season. The reverse grids are where you win the big points. Job van Uitert just won the big points. Who's going to win the big points in this Sim Masters race?
Anyone that you tip off so far, Julian?
With the sim guys, it's going to be, you've got Daniele Haddad starting on pole alongside Alen Terzic, and they're both very quick. And around Monaco, normally these guys are so even, you'd expect the guys at the front to have a good advantage. Siggy from the midfield will be interesting again.
So the race about to get underway. Alex Siebel there starting in 7th position. Mike Epps is going to be in 5th on the grid. This is going to be very, very busy. The next 8 laps of racing. Siggy there in 9th position. Dawid Mroczek and Michi Hoyer, who followed each other through for a strong finish, are starting right together on the grid again. Adam Maguire in 14th place. Kamil Pawlowski in 15th. And Lars Brugman in 16th position. And then that's the rest of our drivers who were qualifying at the front for the first race. 9 laps of racing about to get underway. Daniele Haddad on pole position. Alen Terzic alongside him on the front row of the grid. Wait for the green flags to wave, and then the race will be underway. Haddad gets away nicely. David Greco going to the outside of Jan van der Heijden as they stream into Sandervoort. Haddad's up and away. Terzic in 2nd, Van der Heijden 3rd. Epps is up into 4th. Epps and Siebel have both got past David Greco. Bock and Siggy are up into 8th and 9th respectively. Dawid Mroczek has lost places, but Daniele Haddad has held the lead. Yuri Kasdorp's been hit, and he's up and he's over the barriers and he's into the casino where his luck, he'll hope, will change. And there's Haddad putting Terzic in the wall, and then a big hit up the inside from Van der Heijden as he tries to wrestle his way back through.
Van der Heijden letting Haddad off the hook there because he just caught Terzic into a big oversteer, and the two of them had just opened the door for Van der Heijden. It was a little bit over-eager, I think, just to try and get his nose in. But super close then. But we've still got Haddad ahead of Terzic and Van der Heijden. Epps up to 4th, as you say. Greco, I think, trying to move on the outside at turn 1, and presumably got a little bit forced out, and Epps and Siebel came through.
Haddad, we're on board with still. Alen Terzic right behind, who ran very well at, was it Nola he took pole position? Good couple of months ago now, Alen Terzic. Sebring, you're right. Then in third place, it's Jan van der Heide. Terzic colliding with Haddad, and they're both over and upside down. It's a huge accident in the Sim Masters. It's absolute chaos at Monaco. It's a total pile-up. Leon Bock's up in the air. Someone's facing backwards. Adam Maguire has escaped it all. There's two cars still barrel rolling at the top of the hill. That's Daniele Haddad. And Jan van der Heide is leading. David Greco is second. Siggy is third. And I don't know what happened there.
No. I'm going to call it that the top two got into each other, and then who knows who got involved in what and where. But somehow Van der Heide made it through. He's going to win the race. He's 5 seconds clear of Greco now, and Siggy up in third has got himself some big points. And he's got a sight grin on his face as well. Look at him in the bottom left. He's got no one behind him, and he's got you can see at least Greco in front, but absolute, utter chaos. Who's got what damage? That's the next question.
So Jan van der Heide leading for Zansho Simsport. David Greco is in second place. Siggy's in third and in the wall. Adam Maguire's in fourth. Baldi is fifth. Liam de Waal, who finished third in the first race, is now up into sixth position. Romanidis, Brugman, Kappet and Hoyer, the rest of the top 10.
I wonder if Siggy's got damage.
Yeah.
I wonder if Mroczek's got damage, looking at with the queue behind him right now as well. There will be people with significant damage, because that was utter chaos coming out Beau Rivage. I mean, cars upside down, flying around at all angles. And it was almost impossible for anyone to make it through. The entire track was blocked. Anyone who made it through has either got damage or they were just unbelievably lucky to thread through the eye of a needle. And Michi Hoyer, he's been hit by Peyo Peev, and that's more contact in pretty much the same place.
Yeah, Peev then dropping down to 15th position. Jannick Bock gets in front, but for how long? Peev holds the inside line into Mirabeau and holds on to the place as we go on board with Jannick Bock. Apologies, this is with Mliniak coming into Portier, trying to pass Bock for 15th position. Through the tunnel they come. Van der Heide still leading. Oh, Blakely. Blakely trying to attack Mroczek, I think, and there's no front wing actually for Michi Hoyer, sorry. Michi Hoyer in 11th has no front wing. So Blakely, the winner of race 1, trying to get back through the order and on the back attacking. But he can't get through there, but surely that front wing. Oh, and there's another shunt, and that's Blakely. Blakely going into the back of Hoyer, who was still driving around with no front wing.
That's a shocker for Blakely, absolute shocker. He was up in 12th and 20th on the grid as Epps takes a little photo of something on the screen. He's out of the race in that pile-up and probably trying to find the evidence for the stewards. But yeah, Blakely had no need. Mroczek had no front wing. And Blakely just didn't need to rush a pass on him. He caught him at a rate of knots, just unnecessarily tried to pass him straight away. And he's cost himself that damage and some places, of course.
Certainly has. Lap 4 of 9 in the Sim Masters reverse grid race. Michael Romanidis in 7th, Lars Brugman in 8th. But it's still Van der Heide out in front. Greco closing in a little bit, but immediately Van der Heide had that huge advantage from the big crash. And Blakely's dropped down to 15th place now. So I think it's Liam de Waal who's looking like the biggest point scorer so far, but still plenty of time for things to change. As there is Peyo Peev in 12th position, ahead of Jannick Bock, behind Yuri Kasdorp. They come out, bit of a slide there, but I think they kept it together.
So behind all this is still Lucas Blakely, race 1 winner by a long way. And he was coming through until he caught Mroczek there and spat it into the wall at Ras Kass. here's the man that's got the easiest job. Van der Heide now is just counting down the laps. I had a race a little bit like this in GP2 also. It was my first win, that breakthrough win you were talking about, and I took the lead at the start. And then James Collado was in second place, and he had a damaged front wing. And I, in about 3 laps, just managed to open up a 10-second lead. And the rest of the race was just a cruise. You're just counting down the laps, hoping the car stays together. And basically for Van der Heide, so long as he doesn't have a disco hit, he's going to be doing a similar thing. 4.5 seconds in front of Greco. But he must be just thinking this is absolutely the perfect race.
Lap 6 of 9. There's Romanides running in 7th position. Lars Brugman in 8th spot at the moment. Through Sandebot and up the hill again. Siggy still there. I wonder if Siggy and Greco are going to start fighting before too long. Romanides there down in the bottom left. Liam de Waal still there in 6th spot. Still waiting to see whether Blakely is still there in 15th place after his collision with, I think it was Michi Hoyer rather than Mroczek. I think it was Hoyer that had lost his front wing. A lot of retirements in Monaco, as you'd kind of expect, I suppose, but still quite a big amount of DNFs. Blakely there still in 15th place, right behind Nguyenek and Bock and Peev and Kasdorp, but not able to make a move at the moment. We're on board with the Scot. Is his steering bent? Let's see as he comes out onto the straight. Yeah, it's pretty bent, I'd say. Not terrible, not undrivable, but you can see it's leaning right-hand down quite a lot as he comes onto the brakes into the Nouvelle Chicane.
It's not a straight though, Jack. You have to turn right on that bit anyway. So I don't know if you'll ever get a good gauge for us around this lap because you're barely ever in a straight line at all. But it might have been still slightly too much to the right, possibly. We got a battle for second place on our hands. Kevin Siggy is still pretty close to Greco, and here is Adam Maguire in fourth, having a really strong drive again.
Maguire then, Siggy, and then Greco. 4th, 3rd and 2nd at the moment. Underneath the tunnel they come. And is this Siggy's opportunity on the back of David Greco? Greco, one of the elder statesmen of the sim racing world. Maguire comes firing in. I didn't know if he was going to stop there, but he did as we are on lap 7 of 9.
He's got some braking power, Maguire, to stop that deep and pretty much still hook up an apex. That's ominous. If he gets within a few car lengths of Siggy, that's going to be a move for the taking down at that chicane, certainly.
Here's Mroczek, still right behind Romanides as they come into Tabac. We go back now with Kevin Siggy on the back of David Greco. On the brakes into Sandebot, nothing doing there. Then climbing the hill, Beau Rivage up to Massenet. Maguire still lurking there in 4th position. And there's the dummy. Oh, not quite.
It's a good enough dummy though, because Greco absolutely backed it into Mirabeau. Obviously panicked, went in deep and locked the rears. Somehow it was pretty quick though. He actually didn't. I thought he was going to spit it into the wall as well. But Siggy very, very close, and this could be a chance here.
Down into the Nouvelle Chicane. Not quite close enough again. Now into Tabac in the swimming pool. Lap 8 of 9, penultimate lap of the race. Van der Heide's lead now back up to 6.6 seconds over Greco. Now that these drivers are all fighting, we go back on board here, further back in the field with Risto Kappet, I think we're on board with, trying to get past Mroczek and Romanides in front. Final lap of the race for Jan van der Heide. Still no movement further back. Can Greco hold on to second place? He's got Siggy right behind him. We're on board with that in the top right. Final lap of the race. Oh, big lockup from Greco. He just keeps it together.
Oh, Siggy had to think about it there at Lowe's hairpin as well. Greco's all over the place in front of him. But Siggy, that half look has just dropped him back again. And it's probably meant he's too far back now. Question is, where is Maguire behind Siggy in this battle? Because there's 3 of them in it. We're on board in the top right with Siggy, and now we're not. But you can still see him in the bottom left. But what we're looking at is the battle further down, which is still firing onto the last lap.
Jan van der Heijden out in front. 7.5 seconds ahead of Greco. Romanidis, Mroczek still battling, but here comes Jan van der Heijden out across the line to take his and Zancho's first win in the Sim Masters race. What a great drive from Jan van der Heijden. Who's going to finish second? It is Greco. It is David Greco in second place, just ahead of Kevin Siggy. A very impressive drive. Who's going to hold on to 8th place? It looks like it's going to be Michael Romanidis, just ahead of Dawid Mroczek and Risto Kappet as they come across the line now then. So van der Heijden, the winner, Greco second, Siggy third. At the end of the Sim Masters reverse grid race. Well, there's a look at the results then. Jan van der Heijden taking the win, Greco second, Siggy third. Adam Maguire with another good drive, finishing in 4th position. Gergo Baldi in 5th, Liam de Waal in 6th. Bert Brugman, Romanidis, Mroczek and Kappet completing the top 10. Further down the order, we'll find Lucas Blakely in 15th place. Muhammed Patel couldn't make much progress either. He could only get up to 17th position. Petr Berliak in 19th, Michi Hoyer in 20th place. And we can now speak to Jan van der Heijden, the winner of that race. And Jan, congratulations. A first win for you in the Sim Masters, helped by a bit of chaos out there, but a good drive nevertheless.
Yeah, thanks, mate. For sure, luck was on my side there, but yeah, I take it, I guess. Big shout out to the guys from Sancho for lining me up for this one, and yeah, looking forward to the next one.
Are you expecting to be more of a front runner in the first races? Have you been surprised by the competitiveness of the field?
To be fair, I was expecting it to be quite competitive. Yeah, I just got to work on my quali to start up a bit more in the front, I guess, and then hopefully I can also fight for the win in the main or in the first race.
And how difficult are the tyres around Monaco? Because we thought it wouldn't be too bad, but some of the pro drivers have said, they get a bit difficult towards the end of the race.
Yeah, for sure. You really got to watch out for them. The degradation is quite high on the rear, so you got to play it safe. And yeah, but I managed them quite well. So yeah, from the crash I saw, yeah, it was pretty much smooth sailing for me. And yeah.
Okay, great. Congratulations, Jan. Well done.
Thanks, man.
So Jan van der Heijden wearing his Nissan Idams shirt because he's been another driver racing in the Formula E event earlier on for Nissan. So that's why he's not wearing a Zancho. I don't know if Zancho make shirts. They probably should. But if they don't, there we go.
Well, maybe they will now. Great idea. Another driver that's done well on Monaco as well, another tight street circuit. Maybe that Formula E transferring over, as we heard, is kind of a possibility earlier, Jack.
Yeah, I think they race in Monaco as well, albeit the shortened circuit. So I think just those little bits can give a bit of an advantage. Just that knowing, there's less margin for error on street circuits, isn't there? As we all know, you have to be alert. And I think if you're doing that week in, week out in Formula E, then you're going to be a bit more used to it here. But next up, we've got reverse grid for the Legends Trophy.
Well, it was a bit argy-bargy at the start. We knew it would be. Michi Hoyer, I think, driving around with less drag, but far less grip without a front wing for something like 3 or 4 laps. Ultimately, that meant Lucas Blakely got tied up with him as I think Michi was backing off and trying to get into the pit entrance. Tough race to get through, especially for a guy like Blakely, Jolien, who was so good this morning.
Yeah, he was absolutely
time
rapid.
zones.
Yeah, I don't think it was that long ago, was it? But he was so quick in the earlier race about an hour and a half ago. And yeah, he just got caught up in an incident. But who didn't get caught up in an incident in that? Von der Heide. And he won, basically. Everyone else probably did.
Well, perhaps with our new segments, this will influence the rocket driver of the day. Right. Before I throw it over to you, Jolien, this is totally your segment, but I'm going to steal it. Jack, I'm going to put you on the bus. Let's see if you can name one name and see if it's the same one he's thinking.
I'm going Adam Maguire.
Adam Maguire.
Well, Jolien?
Yeah.
Adam Maguire. He only got in the top 20 in qualifying with about 3 seconds to go. He was about 25th, 26th, popped it in with 3 seconds to go, and then had 2 really strong races. And to be honest, I haven't seen him at the front at all so far. And he was really quick on a very tricky circuit.
He hasn't done many so far.
No, I know he's not done many, but I think he's done a couple. And was just basically across the 2 races, I think he was probably the next strongest. He probably might lead the championship.
We'll have to see. We should have a points total at the end of the day. Remember, there is the Triple Crown on offer, but also the Points Championship. And because all you have to do is win 1 race at each venue, you could win one and then DNF the next. There's a chance you could still win the Triple Crown and not the championship. So we definitely have to track both of those things. Speaking of the Triple Crown and the circuits that we're at, there are drivers among us today that have raced and won on these circuits. We've got our Legends race coming up next. Graham Hill's obviously the only one to do this in history, which is a remarkable feat as we look at some of the incredible photos of Graham Hill. Do you think it's harder or easier now, Jolien, to perhaps win this? And Jack, I'll get your opinion on that too after.
Harder. Because back in the day of Graham Hill, drivers used to do Indy as well as Formula One, as well as some Formula 2 races. And they used to be much more cross-discipline. So you could do them all in the same year, to be honest. Now it's so segregated between Formula One, Le Mans, which sometimes can clash with Formula One, and Indy, which always clashes with the Monaco Grand Prix. You can't do them both the same year. And that's why what Fernando Alonso is trying to do is kind of that interesting, because it happens very rarely now.
Mm-hmm. Of course, Montoya in that argument as well. Jack, do you think there's necessarily a race out of the 3 that's gotten easier or one that's gotten harder as opposed to the whole challenge?
I think Indy is, okay, don't at me. I think Indy is a bit easier to win just because the cars are more equal. I think you're less reliant on your machinery in Indy. So, sure, some teams have more of an advantage than others, don't get me wrong. But, Alex Rossi won the Indy 500, in his rookie year. Whereas the Monaco Grand Prix, you got to be in the best car, unless you're Olivier Panis in 96. Le Mans, even more than Monaco, maybe, you've got to be in the best car. So I think it's a sort of leveler playing field in Indy, which is why the Indy 500 is maybe a little bit easier to win. But that doesn't make it easy. I'm going to get an angry text from Dario in 1 second time.
Well, time now for the final race of the day, and perhaps the most difficult to predict and the difficult to win. Starting at the back in a Brabham around Monaco. Alonso was the victor. Montoya was second. They're both going to be near the back. This is going to be extremely difficult, surely, to get through the field, Jack.
Yeah, this is going to be really tough. But, well, I say that. We've seen Job Van Eyter do it, haven't we? Will we see Fernando Alonso do it? And Juan Pablo Montoya. They'll both be starting towards the back. Both have won Monaco. Alonso's won Le Mans. Montoya's won the Indy 500 twice. They are our 2 Triple Crown men, let's say, coming into this week. And they finished first and second in the Grand Prix earlier on. But Montoya wasn't really there in the Indianapolis Oval race for the Legends. So we'll see whether he has upped his game on that in 2 weeks' time.
And Alonso no longer has his running mate Button to work with, to draft with. He's obviously doing some karting this week. See if he joins us again down the line. But maybe we'll call them double crown men, Jolien, because they're still seeking that triple crown in real life. Maybe a chance to win it virtually. Alonso's got 1 win required. We'll see if Montoya can best that in this race.
So let's have a look at the grid for the reverse grid. Legends Trophy race, and it is Jason Plato starting on pole position at Monaco. Steve Soper alongside him on the front row. Really cool to have Steve Soper here. Mario Dominguez in third. Tom Coronel fifth. Brabham in sixth. Liuzzi and Solberg the rest of the time. I'm going for Solberg for a cheeky podium. I think Solberg might get a cheeky podium here, starting eighth on the grid. Then we've got Andy Priaulx in ninth position. Juan Pablo Montoya in 10th. Hélio Castroneves in 11th. Jan Magnussen 12th. And completing the 13 about to start is Fernando Alonso. So let's see what the Spaniard can do. Starting at the back, can he make it? 6 in a row. 6 in a row, Fernando Alonso. We'll see. 10 laps of racing about to get underway. Plato on pole, Soper alongside him. Dominguez and Jourdain are on row 2. On board with Alonso further back as we wait for the lights. There they are. Plato launches away. Slow start from Dominguez. He's immediately getting swamped by Coronel. Plato into turn 1. Gets a hit from Soper. Coronel gets a hit. Everybody gets a hit. Alonso gets a hit. And Alonso's down to 13th still. And now 12th. And Magnussen's on his head. Alonso's got Magnussen on his head. And he's in 10th position now. And Coronel is spinning across the track. And Alonso's got hit again. And now Alonso's on his own head. And Plato's all out of shape. And Andy Priaulx leads. Soper's up into second, and third is Plato, and fourth is Petter Solberg. That is Jason Plato in the bottom left. Busy stuff.
So if Alonso's going to win this one, he's going to do it the impossible way. He's 30 seconds off and right at the back, caught up in all sorts of chaos, and surely with a load of damage as well. Andy Priaulx leads, but he completely cut turn 1, and so I don't know what's going to happen about that, quite frankly. He probably saw Castroneves do it before, and that is Plato into the back of Soper, is it? And the two touring car legends have come to blows, and Solberg through into second. But yeah, Priaulx cut the first corner, and right now he's 2.5 seconds clear in front.
You can take the legends out of the touring cars, but you can't take the touring cars out of the legends. Petter Solberg up into second place.
If we had a race, we're racing in classic F1 cars. If we had a race in sort of like 80s touring cars, some BMW from the 80s, is that going to be Steve Soper coming to the fore and Jason Plato? Are we going to see Alonso and co floundering a bit more? Who knows?
Wow, that would be cool. That would be cool. Priaulx leading 2 seconds now ahead of Petter Solberg in second place. Plato still there, running in third. The latest guest on the Race Esports podcast. Montoya fourth, Castroneves fifth. Soper, Coronel, Jourdain, Liuzzi and Dominguez the top 10. Alonso, so he's 15 seconds behind Dominguez. He's 35 seconds off the lead. I don't think Alonso can win this, but I think he can get top 10 maybe. I don't know. I don't know what to expect here actually.
He's going slowly, so I think he's probably picked up too much damage. He's actually just dropping away from Andy Priaulx's time. So I think Alonso might be hobbled, or he's been through the pits to try and fix some damage. But yeah, I don't see he's going to get anywhere near this one now. Montoya was flying. He's just lost a couple of places, I think, but still up in 7th. He finished second earlier. He had good pace and he made a nice move. So that was on Jan Magnussen earlier on at the chicane. But let's see if Montoya can make inroads, because of course the championship still, that could be important with Alonso at the back. And of course Montoya, for his own triple crown, his virtual triple crown, needs to win this race.
Yeah, that's very true. So let's keep an eye on those things. We're on board with Alonso, who cuts the chicane to avoid a spun Kevin Magnussen and gets up into 12th position then. Liuzzi in 11th, 10th for Brabham. Montoya still running there in 7th place. Priaulx out in front though, 1.8 seconds ahead now of Petter Solberg. That gap staying about the same, so Andy Priaulx out in front doing a solid job here to keep Priaulx to keep Solberg behind.
Yeah, he's got the fans behind him, literally, in the back. I'm still. It doesn't sit right with me that he just cut turn 1 to take the lead, I'm afraid. And it was, two touring car guys on the front, and then Andy Priaulx just behind. And the two touring car guys Plato and Soper were having a crash, and the third one just snuck through, cutting the corner. Here comes Solberg. He might, a second and a half in it, and maybe justice will be served, but it just felt a little bit sneaky. It was a bit Castroneves from Priaulx to take the lead, and now he's got better pace, quite frankly, than Castroneves had earlier to hold on.
Well, we have got the stewards who will be no doubt having a look at that, but already Solberg has suddenly got the gap down to under a second there. So I don't know if that was a mistake or something, but suddenly the gap drops down quite rapidly between the two leaders. Plato running in third, Castroneves fourth, Montoya then fifth, but a long way off the back of Castroneves. There's Mario Dominguez running in 8th place at the moment.
You said Solberg to the podium, didn't you?
Yeah, I did actually.
Right now, I think even Solberg probably thought he was going to have a good chance in this one because he qualified lower in the first, and he's gone back. He's out, disconnected. What a shame.
Petter Solberg, having been running so strongly, appears to have disconnected. Fernando Alonso sets the fastest lap of the race, but have we just lost Solberg from the podium positions? It looks like it. Soper then promoted up into 5th place, and yeah, we have lost Petter Solberg. What a shame. He was driving so well. That was going to be good points for him. We're on board now with David Brabham, who is going to be trying to get past Tonio Liuzzi in front of him.
Battle for 8th place. What a shame for Solberg. What a shame for the race as well, because now Priaulx's got a nice 9-second lead. Oh, Alonso might have just tapped the back of David Brabham, and he's snuck through there. Brabham spins at Poitiers, and Alonso through into 9th place. I tell you, he can still rescue a load of points in this race. Montoya up in 4th is a long way ahead in terms of time, but there's a line of cars that he can pass, and there is the Spaniard watching Liuzzi go side by side with Soper into the back. That's brave.
Very brave. I think Liuzzi is still in that position, holding on to 7th spot at the moment. Alonso right behind Liuzzi, and God, he just looks so much tidier everywhere, doesn't he?
Modern Formula 1 for you. Not that Liuzzi didn't race in still modern Formula 1, but Alonso there has just done a nice pass on the Italian. He's just, the way that you've got to drive in modern Formula 1 is so neat and precise without sliding, and that's how you go quickly. Back in the day, in the 70s, you could slide it a lot more and still go quickly. But yeah, he's just very, very precise, and that is basically the skill. And it's not even really just Formula 1; it's generally the way that the whole of motorsport is got. And Alonso right now is proving it pretty well on a simulator as well. 2 passes and 2 corners.
Yeah, impressive stuff from Fernando Alonso. And he is now coming up behind Mario Dominguez, coming through the tunnel. We're on board with him now. Surely a look into the Nouvelle chicane. Oh, Dominguez came across. There's a bit of contact. And Alonso, facing the wrong way, suddenly loses the places he just had, although Sober clips the wall. And Alonso's up into 7th, so that means Tonio Liuzzi and all of that is promoted into 6th spot and gets a penalty for his troubles, I think, there, Liuzzi.
Yeah, he might have just shot across the chicane, I think, Liuzzi, yeah. And that's how he did it. I think Dominguez came across too much in the braking zone. Alonso committed to the inside, and once you do that, if someone squeezes you, you've got nowhere else to go. You're already absolutely on the limit of the brakes. You can't just brake more. You can't turn because you'll hit the wall or Dominguez, and it was basically an accident waiting to happen when Dominguez was coming across. So that's what happened there, and Dominguez lost out a lot more than Alonso did.
On board with Alonso, up to Massenet again. Lap 6 of 10. Castroneves has just got past Plato for 3rd place. So a change for the podium positions. Big moment for Alonso. Hits the bump coming down to Mirabeau.
I'm surprised he's got any car left. Another whack out of Mirabeau. Really in the wars.
So there's Well, he sort of hit the inside barrier, then Dominguez, then Soper came sailing in, and Liuzzi went sailing across.
Yeah, actually, maybe there was a space for Alonso it wasn't so much Dominguez coming through. Maybe it was just Alonso hitting that inside barrier, and that's what caused it all. But I mean, Dominguez coming across, I think, put the jitters on him. But I think there was still space for Fernando to go through. Surely his car is hobbled. He's been smashing into all sorts of barriers. He's been upside down at the start of the race. He's still broadside most corners, and now he's back behind Tonio Liuzzi. He's been in the wars, to say the least. And his rival, Juan Pablo Montoya, is up in second place.
Yeah, so Castroneves got ahead of Plato, and now Montoya is ahead of Castroneves. Here comes Alonso on Liuzzi for 6th position into Sainte Devote, and you can see Alonso's looking pretty stressed in this one, isn't he, when he made that move? Climbing the hill.
I think there's only so much you can do when you're starting a Legends race at the back and there's this amount of chaos on such a narrow circuit. And we saw it with Jenson Button a few weeks ago in, I think it was Estoril. Button was really, really quick, and he just got caught up in all manner of chaos at the start. And that's basically what's happened to Fernando here. And he's wheeling. He's wheeling. That's just after, I think, he shot off the barrier on the inside, then whacked the barrier on the outside, and that's why he did it, because he literally didn't have his front tyres in contact with the ground in order to turn.
Well, that explains that one at least. As we are now on lap 7 of 10 in this final race of the day in the Race All-Star Series, powered by Rocket Phones. The Triple Crown we're going for. We've got this race, then in 2 weeks' time we've got Indianapolis, and then the week after that is Le Mans. Lap 8 of 10, on board here with Steve Soper, running in 11th position, trying to chase down Jan Magnussen. Montoya in second as Soper cuts the corner there. Montoya's 12 seconds off Andy Priaulx. This has been a good drive from Priaulx. And Alonso sets the fastest lap of the race, and he'll be with Jourdain. He's not. I think he's got third in him here, you know, as Soper hits the wall. I think Alonso's got third in him.
He's got to pass Jourdain quickly. Then he's certainly got fourth. Then there's another 3 seconds to Castroneves. If he gets third at the end of all this race, I mean, what a recovery that would still be. He's quick. I don't know how he's still pumping in fastest laps. Look, he's right with Jourdain now. Surely this is one for the chicane. He's got to do it neater than he did with Dominguez, though. And he hasn't.
Not quite then there for Alonso. Drops back a little bit. Now coming down towards the chicane. He's going to be too far away, I think, to go for the lunge, isn't he?
He just tapped the back of Jourdain at Portier, and then Jourdain might just lose it on his own. And now Alonso to the inside, it's a back. I don't know if Jourdain thought he was getting out of the way of a back marker there, but he suddenly slowed, and Alonso then up the inside, it's a back. Niche place. He's whacked the wall even harder than he's done so far in this race. But he's still going, and now it's Jason Plato just ahead.
Oh, and a little bump into the wall there for Plato. So that gives Alonso the opportunity, coming down into Sainte Devote. And is that going to be fourth now for Alonso? Yes, it is. He's just so late on the brakes compared to everyone else. Now, what's that? 4 seconds to Castroneves in 2 laps.
Yeah.
It's not impossible, I don't think.
I think he might do it in 1, to be honest, the way he's going. He's smashing the barrier. That's Castroneves just in front. And that's just going to Alonso will now know that's for a podium after all of this race. I think he's going to do it.
Through Portier. Under the tunnel. He's ahead of Plato now, running in 4th spot. Here's a look at the replay of... he's just so good on the brakes, Alonso.
That generally tends to be where the faster people are quicker across all series. They're so committed on the brakes, and they've got it absolutely perfect, fine-tuned the braking ability of their cars. And Alonso has just demonstrated that really well against Jason Plato there at Sainte Devote.
Final lap of the race for Peyo. Alonso, the gap's come down to a second and a half. This is going to be so close. Can Alonso catch and pass Castroneves on the final lap? Plato's had a bit of a moment there that allows Jourdain to get through. Climbing up the hill. Jourdain is Plato trying to fight back over 5th position. But Alonso is on the back now of Castroneves. Peyo surely is going to take the win. Juan Pablo Montoya looks set for a second place. There's Liuzzi up the inside, but Castroneves goes wide into the tunnel. Can Alonso get the podium on the final lap? That's the question. You see Liuzzi in the bottom left there. But here's Alonso. Is he going to do it, Jolien?
He's running out of possibilities now. This is the Tabak move, but he's not able to make it as he did on Jourdain a couple of laps ago. Raskas, all or nothing at Raskas.
And he sends it in swimming pool. Castroneves goes round, and Alonso is up into 3rd place. Andy Peyo wins the reverse grid race in the Legends Trophy. Juan Pablo Montoya finishes 2nd, and Alonso across the line in 3rd position. That was a bit of a sketchy overtake, though, for me, right at the end there.
It's not an overtaking place conventionally, but Castroneves was so wide through the first part of the swimming pool that it was his own mistake that opened the door. And then Alonso, he had to go for it. He had no real other option. I mean, there's no obvious place at the end of the lap. I think if Castroneves was neater through the first part, I don't think he would have had that problem.
Here comes Jan Magnussen across the line in 9th position behind David Brabham, and Dominguez completes the top 10. But Peyo, Montoya and Alonso, the top 3 after that. A very entertaining race. An unbelievable drive back through the order, really, from Fernando Alonso. Whether he got that 3rd place fairly or not is a different discussion, but nevertheless, it was a really impressive drive from the Spaniard. Castroneves in 4th place, so he has a 5th and a 4th from that race, so he's going to be quite up there towards the top part of the order when we get a look at the points in a few minutes' time. Castroneves in 4th, then 5th for Jourdain. Liuzzi, Plato, Brabham, Magnussen and Soper, the rest of the top 10. And we can now hear from the race winner, Andy Peyo. Let's check in with him now. Andy, congratulations. Good drive that from the front, and a commanding win.
Hey, yeah, that was cool. It was a fun race. It's so difficult not to make a big mistake around there. So I was really happy. There was carnage in turn 1. So I went inside because otherwise I'd have been involved in that big accident. And like in the first race, I got past by about 5 cars there. So I thought it'd be opportunistic and great to win a race. It's been a while, so I'm really enjoying it.
Great. What was it like driving these cars around Monaco? Because presumably, much less margin for error than any track we've been to so far.
Yeah, it's really tough. I mean, the old process here is working hard. This is an old fella here at the wheel. So, yeah, it's working hard, but it's really good. I mean, the R Factor is a great platform, and, everybody is doing a great job promoting it, and just a pleasure to be driving with all these legends, and to win a race is just icing on the cake.
Great. Well, congratulations. Thank you for joining us. It's been great fun. See you next time.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Thank you.
So Andy Peyo, that 3-time World Touring champion, that's legendary status enough.
Absolutely. I would say so. Yeah, no question. 3 in a row, I think it was as well with the 320, as it were. So very impressive. And is the man to dethrone Alonso, although he got caught in a lot of chaos. Hey, 5 in a row is where it ends. Andy Peyo has a chance at the Triple Crown now as well, which is something that otherwise, he's raced Le Mans a few times. He hasn't been involved in both Indy and F1. So how cool would it be to see someone who's not in the picture of what we saw in reality win it virtually? It'd be very, very cool. When we come back, we'll talk about all the results and the driver of the day. Well, pretty chaotic racing, I think, to be expected. It's kind of like a bowling alley when you cheat and you get the bumpers lifted up so you can't go off track. In this case, it actually just caused more chaos and everyone collided into each other. But it was some underdogs, per se, that got the job done. As you already mentioned, Andy Maguire looking excellent in the sim racing, gave him the driver of the day in that category, Jolion. And it's, I think, been a few other guys that have snuck up to the front as well through that chaos and maintain position due to the defensiveness. One driver I do want to touch on quickly before we get to the driver of the day for the Legends is a legend himself, someone who joined us this week for the first time, and that is, of course, Steve Soper, who, Jack, I'm curious about what he thought of his debut.
Yeah, well, let's find out, shall we? Steve, thank you very much for joining us. Brilliant to have you in the Legends Trophy. We watched you, we enjoyed watching you race. Did you enjoy your debut?
Yeah, it was good. It was a fantastic fun. I really enjoyed it.
And how long have you been, I presume this is your first foray into the sort of sim racing simulator world. How have you found that?
Very difficult. I started about 2 months ago, and I'm still struggling with it. It's not for the people of my age, for sure. And I keep thinking it's a car, and it's not. But it's great fun, and it's, I was we had problems getting onto the server, so I didn't get much mileage, and I ran until 2:30, 3 o'clock last night into the morning and did some laps. So I'm sort of getting there. Hopefully the next couple I'll be a little bit more competitive, but I don't know how Fernando does that. I mean, he passed me, and I'm just sat here with my mouth open. I'm thinking, we're all in the same cars. How does he do it?
Yeah, amazing stuff. Well, great to have you in the championship, Steve. See you next time.
Thank you.
Yeah, fantastic. I agree to see him in the championship. Perhaps no one more exciting to watch in a touring car than Steve Soper in his prime. But we said we'd touch on it. It's the Rocket Driver of the Day for the Legends category. Who's it going to be, Joe?
I think it was Hélio Castroneves. Good day for him, definitely. But just missed out on the podium at the end. I think it's going to be Juan Pablo Montoya with his couple of second places. Look, Jack can snigger all he likes. The guy did a good job today. He made a nice pass on Jan Magnussen in race one. And he was very strong. But he can't win the Triple Crown.
He can't win the Triple Crown. We'll talk about those who still can in just a sec. So the Rocket Triple Crown fully underway on the All-Star Series. We welcome you back to wrap up the show and to inform you that there are 6 eligible drivers. We did not have any repeat winners today. Fernando was stopped in the Legends race, but still gave it a good effort from, I guess, the back and all the carnage to get on the podium. Montoya, though, Mr. Consistent, gets 2 second places and looks great in the championship, Jack.
Yeah, really good stuff. And I think Jolin is right to give him the driver of the day in the Legends Trophy for sure. And he's going to be looking strong as far as the championship is concerned. And that kind of consistency is going to be important.
Well, the overall driver of the day, we know the 3 that you've nominated from each category, Job Benoita, Adam Maguire, and now JP, Juan Pablo Montoya. Who's it going to be, Julian, for the Rocket driver of the day?
No-brainer. No-brainer. The outstanding driver of the day for me was Job Benoita. 2 podiums in a very competitive pro driver field, and one of them was a win. Absolutely brilliant.
Very impressive. And of course, that means he picks up the Rocket goodie bag, which is a phone and a couple of earbuds, some other cool swag that they've got. We've got him on the line because this was a bit of a breakthrough for him, I think, Jack.
Yeah, let's speak to Job again. Job, winner of the Rocket Driver of the Day, a goodie bag on the way. You beat Juan Pablo Montoya to the Driver of the Day award.
Oh, well, that's cool. Yeah, it's a nice bonus, I would say, to a good weekend, virtual weekend.
Great. Well, congratulations, and we'll see you next week. You got to win it again now.
Yeah, next week first we do the 24-hour of Le Mans virtually, and then the week after we go oval racing, and then again back to Le Mans. So it's cool. Yeah, nice tracks coming up.
Great. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Well, and he's done my job for you because we are going to be off next week from this particular series. Obviously, there's a very important virtual 24-hour of Le Mans going on. All in Sport have actually got a team in that with Fernando Alonso and Rubens Barrichello, along with a couple other very quick sim drivers. But there's a lot of names, so definitely worth checking out. In fact, I would say some of those teams in that virtual race rival any lineup I've seen in Le Mans 24-hour in real life, Julian. There's some impressive talent all the way through from Porsche to McLaren to everyone.
Yep, it's going to be competitive. And then we've got the Le Mans race coming up a couple of weeks after. So those in it are going to be really dialed in by the time we come back.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, that's all on our factor too. So they'll be familiar with that, with the physics. Obviously, we mentioned it as well. Job Benoita has a great job. I didn't even mean to do it there in the Pro Trophy and getting ahead. But in some of the other championships, it's going to be a little more wide open. Fernando only coming through in third, but Montoya, double podium. Maybe he's going to sneak some more time away from Seb to get practice next week, Jack, and get a few more points on the boards. We'll look at the pro table first, because this is, as we say, Job Benoita was the dominant driver today and is 20 points in the lead.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason he was driver of the day, and that is it. A 20-point advantage over Tom Dillman. Very impressive. Only 2 points ahead of Canapino, who's 2 points ahead of Oliver Rowland, who's 3 points ahead of Adam Christodoulou. But Job Benoita is 20 points clear of anyone else. Really, really astonishing job from the young Dutchman. And I mean, can he keep that up? That's going to be the question. And how are these drivers going to deal with at different disciplines, different circuits? We're going to have different cars for Indianapolis. It's going to be an oval. We're going to have different cars for Le Mans. It's going to be a different discipline for them there as well. So whereas we've got in the regular circuit stuff where we were in the Formula race cars all the time, we got very certain, right, here are our group of front runners. I don't think we're going to have that this.
Well, the other aspect of that too is that previously, anyone more familiar with the sim, we were only told on Thursday before the race as to what the track was going to be, and there was limited practice time. Now everyone knows from the very beginning what car they're going to be in and what track they're going to. So it gives a bit more opportunity for that practice, which might make a bit of a difference for some of these guys. And again, for the Montoyas, maybe they can split up that time and not be so rushed at the end, as one example. There's lots of guys that can be doing more and more. As we get ready to head to Indianapolis, in just a second, we'll talk more. Yeah, practice is a big part of it, Julian, and I think that maybe these guys could actually dive in instead of being rushed, especially in the case of guys like Kevin Siggy or Oliver Rowland, who's been involved in 3 races this weekend. They can kind of maybe break that down over a longer schedule now.
Yeah, they've got a bit of time. They've got the different disciplines is going to be amazing. All the legends that did Indy just a couple of weeks ago, they were buzzing for it. They absolutely loved it. But all the pro drivers, maybe as Gabby Chavez has done an oval, there must be very, very few others that have actually raced an oval. And obviously the same for the sim races as well. They probably haven't done so much on ovals. It's going to be very, very exciting. And as we know the tracks, as you say, they can practice, and practice makes perfect, doesn't it?
It does. I think you might be right. Gabby Chavez obviously drove IndyCar and Indy Lights before that, and I think would be the only one familiar off the top of my head that's been around in the pro category, obviously. Yeah.
Martin
there you
Furman.
go. Okay. Well, we've got 2. Maybe you can be a winner this week as well. We'll get back to our discussion. Maybe we'll have some time to think about it while you guys find out how you can win with Rocket. If you'd like the chance to win a Rocket phone featuring 3D screen technology, just go to rocketphones.com and tell us, what is the name of the former Formula One Vice World Champion who currently drives for the Rocket Venturi Formula E team? Not only that, there will be some great offers available exclusively to race fans on rocketphones.com right now, with huge discounts of up to 60% on selected handsets. Still want more? Well, we've got you covered. You can also receive a free pair of Rocket earbud headphones when you buy any phone. All you need to do is enter the promo code RACEOFFER. This contest is open to all race fans, no matter where you live in the world. So why wait? Head to rocketphones.com right now to check out the deals. Well, I said we were going to think more about the oval aspect. I didn't actually think about anyone else that may have, but it'll be interesting, Jack, to see how they do get on. Again, contemporary machinery in the Dallara. Oh, sorry, Joe, say again.
Christodoulou, Star Mazda champ. Round
wow. What did Martin Plowman do? What am I missing there?
Indy Lights, I think. Did he do Indy Lights?
Did he?
I think he might have done.
I don't know if I can Google that quickly. I'll have to get Alexa to tell me after. I don't want her to trigger right now, and you guys be able to make her buy stuff for
anyway.
me.
We would have forgotten by 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, well, we'll find out in 2 weeks' time. Again, as we get there to Indianapolis, when we get back into this, we'll look at our other results for the day, the championship standings for the Sim and the Legends. Right about now, anytime. Well, we welcome you back at the end of the show for the Race All-Star Series powered by Rocket Phones. We've already looked at our pro results and therefore championship standings, but we've still got to look through the Sim Masters and the Legends Trophy. I'm sure there's some names that might surprise given some of the chaos that these two particular races did have. Surprisingly, the Sims were a bit more chaotic than we're used to seeing from them, and just was the nature of everyone looking for a gap. Oh, look, it's your best friend, Jack, who's on the top.
Yeah, Liam Duval is at the top of the championship, 2 points clear of Jan van der Heide, with Blakely in third position then. So that's pretty tight, isn't it, at the top there? And that's what Blakely's results basically came from one race, whereas Duval came from two races, but he's only 4 points clear of Blakely. Kevin Siggy, I don't know what was going on with him and his performance and his speed. He does have a big Formula E race both today and also the sort of title decider tomorrow. So whether he was a bit more focused on that and will be back on track attacking for the remainder of the series, I don't know. But expect more from Siggy. But yeah, Liam Duval and Jan van der Heide, the top two then in that sim class.
Well, the interesting thing for Siggy as well is he's been so consistent that this means he doesn't necessarily have a chance for the Triple Crown, which Julie and I would have put him as one of the favorites for.
Yep, I agree. He would have been right up there. He's been consistent every series, every weekend we've done. Siggy's been a front runner, but he was a front runner. He got a podium, but he won't be winning the Triple Crown. So Lucas Blakely, I mean, his performance was so good in a really competitive sim racing field. He was at half a second clear pretty much in qualifying, and he blitzed the field. So that one is going to be one to watch.
Absolutely. So he can still win the championship. We'll track both as we say. This is close. Alonso in the lead, but 2 points only over Montoya, Jack.
Yeah, and that is why Montoya got Masters Legends Trophy, driver of the day, because he stopped the Alonso disappearing act when Alonso disappears up the road. He couldn't make it 6 out of 6, Alonso, but no surprise that he's there at the top of the championship anyway, because he's been mighty. He's been mighty and almost unstoppable. We'll see what happens on the oval next time out, but we've already got some experience of that, haven't we? And he was quite good.
Very good. Very, very good. And Andy Priaulx obviously in third by virtue of his first win in the series, which was, I think, nice to see as well, because Andy's been giving it a go, also sharing with his son, Jack.
Yeah, his son Seb, who did a good job today as well. I think finished in the top 6. I want to say in the Pro Cup. So yeah, great to see Andy Priaulx getting a win, because he's been here for quite a while. So now he's in there. Now he's getting wins, and I think he enjoyed it as well, which is always good for the legends to enjoy themselves, because then they'll stay back.
Well, it's been great to start off the Triple Crown, the 3 most iconic venues in motorsport, and we bring them all to you right here on The Race. Don't forget, though, next week is an off week. You can check out the virtual 24-hour of Le Mans, which has some of the best names in sim and motorsport in real life combined, and then we'll return with Indianapolis. We look forward to seeing who can maybe win a Triple Crown virtually. We'll see you then.
welcome to the race.
And the lights are out. Great start then.
The Moto2 champion steps into the team that's dominating the championship.
I'm Scott Mitchell from the race. We're here at Barcelona.
Sebastian Vettel is fighting for his career.
There has to be a title assault, and anything less will be a failure.
Oh, and a spin!
We lost the GoPro.